smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
So chase greatness and start understanding that he's gonna make everybody better.
Tape never lies.
I don't want to see your tape breakdowns if you cannot show me things that are negative about a guy that's on your current team.
Hashtag chase greatness. Hashtag take that.
Keep it 100.
Because I'll make this one more time clear. Caden Whitlow, cut it.
Keeping it 100.
He is the best quarterback I have ever scouted on tape.
The Chicago Bears select.
Guess who's back? The two dudes that kept it real. Dynamic duo that you love, the smartest man in Dr. Phil. Breaking down the film, never a problem, kick it straight. Most shows focus on stats, we focus on the tape. We keep it in 100, never running east or west. We coming with that truth, cause that's what our fans expect. Cut off the fake and anchor, moving forward to be free. But don't you worry, Shane's got the dumbest tweets. It ain't no secret, feeling Shane got some haters. But now they're moused up like the true and now and latest. Debaters, draws get kicked like Coach Tabor. Cuts had to be made, we added a barber moderator. Up or down, boys got you double checking. Sad sack strolling like a fool drunk texting. Flexing on the truth cause you know they'll never change. Real, recognize real, that's what you get with Phil and Shane.
Give me some fucking names. Wait, 2 fucking games.
Fuck a play or a captain, all of the up there. The tape never lies, the truth you see. We laugh, we analyze, so there's no babies like Maybelline. Straight to the truth with acumen and facts. We got a stat nerd, but he's not just giving nerd stats. Car crash, big impact like trip sack. Every Wednesday night you got the smartest man Phil back. Now we know you're smiling like a fat kid with fun dip. We're back better than ever and we keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest
Keeping it
man.
100.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Draft Dr. Phil and the smartest man.
Keeping it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Keep it 100.
Keeping it 100.
Yeah, exactly.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Keepin' It 100 on the best 4-letter network on the planet. The tape never lies.
Oh my fucking God.
Before we get started, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the Tape Never Lies Network on all social media. Be sure to become a patron today. You don't want to miss Draft Mob. If you miss the first one, you're already late. You're already behind. So you got to play catch up. It was a great show. The boys and Coach O had Will Campbell and Grace Zabel for the first show of Draft Mob. Great show. Go check it out. If you miss it and you're a patron, if you're not a patron, like I said, what the fuck are you doing, man?
Duval.
Hurry up and become a patron today. Let's go ahead and bring the boys out. Shane, the smartest man, and DDP,
Yo.
Draft Dr. Phil.
There he is.
What's happening? We're back.
Collaborate this.
Collaborate this. Yeah.
I heard Coach.
Heard those words a couple of times.
That gets me every time, Zorich.
He also told Big Cat he was willing to cut off his testicles for a Super Bowl championship.
Huh.
He goes, I got 3 kids with my wife. What do I need those anymore for? Yeah, cut them off for a Super Bowl title. Let's do it.
I mean, as long as everything works. I mean, as long
He's
as
committed, right?
Listen,
it works after that, I guess.
we'll be singing in a little bit of a higher pitch to Keepin' It
Yeah.
100 song.
Hey, we'll take it. I'll sign up for him to get his balls cut off for a Super Bowl title.
Get
Why
that
not?
falsetto.
As long as you get that falsetto. Keepin' It 100.
You walking around
Coach
saying,
Joe.
how's my backside look? I got no balls. How's my backside look?
I'm making things. The tape never lies. The tape never lies.
It never
Didn't
does.
lie about Braxton Jones.
No.
Doesn't lie about anybody. Coach Ben Johnson will even tell you.
Yeah,
Gotta
man.
look at the tape.
You got to listen to our new guy. I mean, I thought
Several, about 500 interviews.
I like that he's pretty open and swearing and not really giving too much of a shit of what he says.
10 Super Bowls, he'd do it.
Yeah. If
okay.
you ain't gonna block, you're not getting the rock.
Direct. That's the best.
Directed it.
I can't believe Ivan hasn't printed one out for the show tonight.
Yeah.
Look it. I just got
Ain't-
home. I just got
ain't
home.
gonna block.
I just got home.
Yeah.
He ain't getting
I
the
stay
rock.
up. I stay up late. I gotta
That's
cut
the
film.
exact
I gotta
quote.
do
He
a
told
bunch of shit.
he told
No
Cole
block,
Kmet.
no
He
rock.
he told Cole Kmet, you quit your you don't quit your pod, you're not gonna be on the sod. That was the other one. So CHGO is gonna be
Send
very
them
upset.
to me right now.
No block, no rock.
Thank you.
Put the TTNL logo on the front, and then Ben Johnson,
No blocky,
February
no rocky.
2025. No block, no rock.
Rock. But I
Direct,
like it, man.
direct shot at DJ Moore.
I think
By
it's
the
even-
way, we were critical of here, and
I think
I'm ready to trade him out of town for God's sake.
I don't want to trade him.
But with me,
I like that he said it publicly. That applies more.
I agree with you.
Yep.
I agree with you. I think the fact that you put it out in public. Listen, I've said this before to the patrons. I'll say it to the world again. I've said it at the old network. I said it many times. The old man used to get his panties in a bunch. But it is a mental wrestling match that you have to play some psychological warfare with the players. That's why I always felt like all these nerd fraud block boys who've never played a sport or been around a real head coach get all upset when I say, no, a coach goes up there. He doesn't have to call anybody out by name if he doesn't want to. But if you say some of us really got to take a look in the freaking mirror, some of those wide receivers need to catch the ball and focus on block. That sends the message. You have to send the message and be consistent. Where now, again, TTNL was right, Pat, is that we saw a lackadaisical locker room spread onto the field despite what you heard, how everybody loved the coach because he wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
There's no
Ranked
accountability. Of course they
32
love
out of 32
him. Yeah, they love
in the
him.
votes. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's such a great. No, it's
So
terrible.
man, I fucked up, but
Exactly, and that's Ryan Poles right there. Pretend that's what I wanted to hear from Ryan Poles, who, by the way, I'm on the ledge with Ryan Poles. I just don't feel comfortable with the guy. I'm just being honest, and it's
There's
not the
nothing
way
wrong with-
he's
I think-
nervous.
I think you have to be on the ledge with all of these guys, Phil. Like, listen, we know
Oh,
this is
him
the
number one.
No, I know, but this is the
Got me.
honeymoon period for all of these guys. But it's time to win. It's time to win. It's time to see fundamental football. It's time to stack wins. I understand you're not going to go 17-0. I get it, but questioning Ryan Poles is a completely valid argument to make. That's where everybody should be. You shouldn't be all in and say King Poles and having that as your, as your AV, right? Jesus
Right.
Christ! What
Tyson Bagent and
king
King
of what?
Poles are you've directly held up, and I promised I wouldn't say the P word tonight. And I'm not talking about Philip. You've directly held up the sign that you are an absolute sham when you have the King Poles or Tyson Bagent as your social media AVI. In fact, if you don't put your face on it, I don't know what to tell you. I can't take you seriously.
I'm not smart.
It's embarrassing. But King Poles, he's not. Some of the things that we talked about, and Ivan shouted us out in the reality of what we broke down in Will Campbell and Gray Zabel this past weekend. This weekend, we'll be hitting off some more offensive linemen to get you ready for the NFL draft like nobody else does, with using actual coaches tape and giving you more than highlights. We want to see the good, the bad, to give you the best breakdown and analysis of all of these positions from a Chicago Bears need standpoint. Could argue that they could take 3 positions up top. You can make an argument that they could take an offensive tackle, defensive end, pass rusher, and even you can make an argument for a running back. You can, but it all sets itself up with free agency and how they view their board. Am I going to take a running back that high? No, not in the deepest running back class I've ever seen or one of. But you can make the argument. That's our job. Let's look at the tape. Let's look at Genty. Why can we talk about this guy here for the Bears? Let's look at the tight ends and why we need 3 of them. 2 to 3 tight ends should be 1 in free agency, 2 in the draft, in another deep tight end draft. We'll talk about it and look at the tape to show you that. But my point with Poles is what we talked about, especially my dad really eloquently spoke about it, was determination. He crumbles when things get tough. I feel it. It's a layup to take Caleb Williams number 1. It is. Everybody and their brother in the NFL would have taken Caleb Williams number 1, and they still would take him number 1 if there was a redraft now.
What the fuck?
Exactly.
Oh my God, Greg, droning on and on. Shut the fuck up, dude.
But the reality of this situation with Poles, I'm very concerned about his ability to recognize that gene of determination. You talked about pricks, and you gave us Ryan Bates, you gave us Lucas, Patrick, and you gave us CHGO's Carm. Those kind of fucking letdowns can't happen under Ryan Poles' watch. They're not. They're pricks as a people, not as a player. I need a guy that's going to go in there, set the fucking tone. And anytime you have a football team with 8 captains and none of them are on the offensive line, then you're dealing with a guy without determination who looks at analytics and puts a higher price on analytics than tape. And that's not going to be successful in the long run. You fucked up with your biggest problem. The biggest prick you kept was Matt Eberflus. And you kept him on. Now, does he get it right here, Shane? Everybody's darling.
We're about to find out.
Everybody's darling was Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson is the Caleb Williams of coaches. Ben Johnson's the Caleb Williams of coaches. Don't try to rewrite history, Swifty and Pat, like you didn't want Ben Johnson if things fail. On this network, we said, I absolutely don't know. I went to the people that do know, Brock Wright and David Montgomery. They told me what they thought. And that's a good check in the box. I still don't know, but I'm excited about Ben Johnson and how he's handling the media, how professional he is. The big quotes, obviously, no, don't block, no rock, and how he didn't hire his friends. And I really want to say this as a coach, and I've said this for years. I even taught our guests this a long time ago. A lot of shoe salesmen in this league. The Good Old Boy Network is bringing your boys along. That stuff's not happening under him. So that's a good thing. But my concerns with Poles continue as we move into this. How does he handle free agency? How does he set the deck there to set the tone for the draft, which will be a huge draft? But since we're talking huge, we got a huge...
Angelo, do you remember Greg Braggs?
No. I'm not smart.
So
We got a bigger strip.
where the fuck is this dude's intro, man? Jesus Christ.
Does he warrant an intro?
I think he does.
Here it is.
Duval.
The way he shouts us out daily.
Yeah, he does.
He deserves an intro. There he is.
Hello.
Red cupping it up. Red cup.
Red Solo Cup.
Did Greg dye his hair gray, or is it
I
just?
think it's the stress.
Everybody says this. It's only because a hat is glued to my head normally. So
Yeah,
nobody
just
ever
for
sees
men,
my
touch
hair.
of gray is a real thing. So I believe so. I believe so.
We don't until you grow the handlebar mustache back. We're not listening to you. Go back in your hole.
It was there this morning. You shaved it off, and it's halfway back already.
Like
I
a
believe
Santa-
the gray
like a
comes.
Santa Claus. It just poofs back up.
That Carm gray, Carm stress is causing this.
Well, he definitely beat me to the gray hair first, but that was
Yeah.
40 years ago.
Right. Now it's just extending over to you. The stress of him.
How old is Carm?
38.
How old is dirt?
He's a fossil.
How come you weren't at the ladies' event the other night?
I was. It was last night.
I didn't see you in any of the pictures.
Well, they stuck me in the corner with the voice of the Minnesota Vikings, Paul Allen, and we were.
Oh, how'd that go?
It
Oh,
was great. He was like, he was great.
Paul Allen.
He's got the voice for sure.
Better than Jeff Joni.
Oh man, he's a really fun dude to talk to, and then we had him on the show today. Really good dude. So yeah, that was a fun conversation. But yeah, I was there. Courtney Cronin puts on a good event, and just so you know, the Bears pay for it. You know, last few years that I've been there, they're the
Wow.
ones that foot the bill.
Bears, like McCaskey's pay for it?
Hey,
Or is it the other
ownership
owners?
A-, head coach, 32 out of 32.
Yeah. So Eberflus didn't pay for it.
Yeah.
But it's a shot at Ryan Poles right there, because this is a guy he emphatically went out of his way. You could have had Jim Harbaugh if you went out of your way to do it. And Greg, we start there. I started this whole rant on Ryan Poles. I'm not even in the wait and see. I feel this guy should have been fired. I don't feel good about Ryan Poles right now.
Do you feel good about Ben Johnson on the Bears?
I do feel I'm optimistic about Ben Johnson, 100%.
Well, I mean, he came here in part because he believes in Ryan Poles. So that might be surprising. I think I think probably all three of us. I won't speak for you guys, but going into the end of the regular season, before we got to that point, I wouldn't have guessed. Like, if you had to make me bet, like, what would have been the better odds to get Ben Johnson, keeping Ryan or letting him go? I think I was at the point, as much as I'm more of a Ryan Poles guy and believe he can be a good GM, even though he had what you've seen on the resume right now doesn't prove that by any means. I like Ryan Poles, so I don't know how to spin that, but that's just where I stand with Ryan. But
Well, you can like him, but I
also believe that if you give him enough time, and I don't know, I know you don't, your patience runs thin, Phil, but I just think that he would. For me, firing him would have made a lot of sense to secure Ben Johnson, but ultimately,
You don't think Ben Johnson comes here without Poles?
well, I mean, you're opening up Pandora's box. So you don't know who the GM is. I guess Ben would have had an ability to pick his own. It doesn't matter. Ben is here. and now
Right,
Ryan's
right.
here, so it
I think
worked
he's
out.
got more power than Ryan.
I think
Oh,
if he
1,000%.
Yeah.
if he doesn't, then I have huge concerns.
But last year, at
different
this
Paul
time-
Allen, Alexander.
Right,
Different,
but-
different Paul Allen.
Right. Yeah, it is. But the difference between last year and this year, where we were sitting here going, okay, you stuck with Eberflus, now you bring in Waldron and you draft Caleb Williams, and there's no way they can fire Matt Eberflus because you got to let this play out. Well, obviously that ship sunk 6 months into the season, or 6 months into the year. Well, I think this time around, while I agree with you that Ben Johnson has way more power at this organization than Ryan Poles and even Caleb Williams for that matter, I also think it's highly unlikely that worst case scenario this season that Ryan Poles has shown the door because of some,
I agree.
I agree with that.
They're tied for a few years here.
Yep. I agree. Yeah.
I hate the fact that they can't come out and admit their extension, if there is one, or the contract situation. There's so many things I could talk about Ryan Poles that extend to the Bears, but I think, like I said, I'm beyond subtle standing there waiting. I'm very concerned about the guy. I don't think we'll see who he is this year, no doubt.
No, it's a big off season. They're talking a big game in terms of, how they're going to be aggressive in free agency, how they're going to attack the offensive line. You hear Ben Johnson talk about center play. You hear him talk about wanting smart players on the offensive line. That leads me to believe they're going to be looking for veterans to take some of these spots because, who knows what they do with that top 10 pick, but if you need smart players to execute an offense with a team that has expectations sooner rather than later. I don't know if you can wait around for a third round center and a first round left tackle that's waiting behind Braxton Jones. So we'll see if Trey Smith actually, hits the market or stays with Kansas City. But outside of that, I think there's a lot of options from a veteran standpoint to build the interior of the offensive line. And then also, and Adam Hogue pointed this out as soon as it was over, when Brad Biggs asked this question about Braxton Jones, that was a clear shot across the bow that Braxton's job is not necessarily safe either. So
it shouldn't be, though. That's the fucking entire point. That's the entire point. And a guy like Karan, if Jerry Angelo was here and you had a guy like Karan Amagaji, he would be put in as a starter simply because he's a draft pick. The Bears,
That's
cannot.
politics.
He's
yeah,
here.
But hold on, you bringing up Karan Amagaji, and Ben Johnson isn't tied to Karan.
Oh, no. But I'm just saying, I'm talking about the previous regime. Braxton Jones, you move forward like you don't have a left tackle. Braxton Jones is here. You cannot say that. Now he's in.
Who is that?
Now he's in a whole
My
bunch.
social media manager. She's trying to sit on the couch without me.
Tell her to come over here and say
I'm
hello.
like-
Worst way possible.
Tell her to come over here.
What
and say
was
hello.
that? Like a
These two, Emma.
was that like the freaking river dance? She
Oh
went,
my God.
went gliding through.
Jenny, are you there?
I
Mark.
already sent the messages out.
There was questionable river dance movement in the background. I felt like there was like questionable. Like now I got to question my friend. What is he doing again?
Rags with redder cheeks.
Look at the smile. It's like
rolled, like just rolled.
it's just so slick and skinny in a hole.
Yeah.
Oh boy, let's slow down here.
She should have did the army crawl across the back of the room.
I'm out. TTNL doesn't have an
Jeepers
agent.
creepers.
Man.
So man, I fucked up, but for sure.
Okay.
So man, I
CHGO gets crazy after dark.
Crazy after dark.
Yeah.
Become a what is the membership again? Become a diehard.
I'm a diehard.
Did they
Yeah.
do that just because you think it's a fucking Christmas movie?
No, I don't think
He's
so.
flustered.
I stumped him. He's getting
Flustered.
upset.
Oh, there she
Get
is
out of
again.
here.
She's allowed to come
Tell her
on
to
the
come
show.
over and say hello.
Could she say hi at
Come over
least?
here and say hi. It's her first combine.
It's their first combine.
You have to say hi now.
Don't be like.
Come
That's
on.
it.
There we go.
Here's Emma. Here's Steven. They're waiting to go to dinner.
Steve.
I think I met him at the tailgate, right?
Yes, you did. Well,
Big
no, I don't
Steve.
know. He's working. He's working.
No.
What's her name? Or we can't say
Emma.
her.
That's
Emma.
She's
Hi,
our
Emma.
head of social media. She does a fantastic job.
Is she as good as you at social media? Be honest.
A stone cold killer.
What does she think of Larry Mayer?
What does she think of Larry Mayer? I don't know.
I'm sure she could help out the Bears social media team.
Yeah, she definitely could. So,
Oh, you see this, Greg?
Look, he's gonna come see you tomorrow.
thanks for the Thanks for the warning, Alan.
We look
No,
at
but-
the, go ahead.
Yeah, just back to what we were talking about. In
Yes,
terms of
Emma fucked it all up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, god damn it, Emma. Jesus. First fucking combine, she fucking everything all up.
Yeah.
You stay on that couch back there.
River dancing through.
But no, they cannot move forward and say, all right, we have Braxton at left tackle. You have to move forward like you don't have a left tackle, you don't have a left guard, you don't have a center, you don't have a right guard, and it's Darnell Wright, and everything is open.
Yep.
You have Braxton there for competition. Amagaji can be part of the competition. That's fine. Now, if you went out and signed Trey Smith, if he was available, I have zero problem with them going after a grizzled vet like Zeitler and throwing him in there for a year. That's going to buy Amagaji time. And then let's just
I'm
say
ready for Ronnie Stanley, bro.
But and maybe forgive me for like just already cutting off Karan Amagaji's ceiling. He's welcome to prove me wrong, but I just look at him as a guy that at best is our swing tackle of the future. If he wants to then become our left tackle of the future by developing, working his ass off, I'll salute him to that. But the way I see this, and I'd love to bring Zeitler in from Detroit just from the standpoint of understanding Ben's offense and the standard being set there. But Trey Smith, a center, and then if you start talking, this is my whole thing with the 10th pick in the draft. If you're going to take one of these offensive linemen who I don't really think hold the same value in terms of what the defensive linemen I see in the first round, because I like more the interior offensive linemen in the second and third round. You guys certainly can speak to that better than I can, but just from what I've seen so far, that's my take. And so of the offensive linemen being considered at 10 for the Bears, I need these guys to at least have the opportunity to bump out to left tackle.
Well, Will Campbell can play left tackle, no doubt.
And if
He's a top 10. I'm 100%. These fucking frauds talking about his arm length.
Fine. So if you want to draft Will Campbell and have him at left guard his first year,
Left tackle. He's going to start at left.
Well, I'm just saying, if you still have Braxton for one more year and you want,
you don't even do that. You say,
don't forget, he's hurt.
Braxton's coming off an injury.
Well,
so is Amagaji.
That was the key of what Paul said. We'll see how he comes back from this.
Yeah,
right.
So that was.
Isn't the talk that it's going to be at least training camp before he's even available for anything?
Right. And to your point, and we made this point on the show, or at least I did. I'm like, well, you've
Thank
got
God for you.
You've got an early mini camp here before the draft, an extra one because of a first-year head coach. Then you get through the summer, and you've got Ben Johnson trying to install an offense with Braxton Jones not practicing. And so now you're trying to lay out a game plan with a hypothetically left
not
tackle.
Working.
Yeah, I mean,
I could see Ronnie Stanley being signed. Nobody talking. I know Olin Kreutz came on with us 2 weeks ago, talked about him being in favor of that. I was in favor of it, getting that guy that's a professional, a pro's pro, that knows it. You don't have any captains on the offensive line. It has been a sham, really, under Ryan Poles, which is another reason why I'm so concerned with the guy. Can he pick guys that aren't pricks like Carm? Pick guys that are actually real fucking dog alphas on the football field at the offensive line. And that's what you get with Campbell. He's the guy in the draft. And Booker and Campbell, Booker I know plays guard. He can punch out to tackle, but those type of guys bring a personality and an attitude. Even as a rookie, I think Campbell would go in a locker room and never change who the fuck he is, and they're fighting with somebody, and everyone's like, "Oh shit," and back it up with his ability.
And my only requirement, if your number 10 pick is a guard, is he's got to be one of the best. He's got to be one of the best guards.
Booker is the
100%. Yeah,
these mock drafts with Booker.
Everybody having him falling to round 2. It's by the time draft day. I mean, this week.
Well, that's what happened to Darnell Wright, right?
Yeah.
And he's
Yes, exactly. That was Pierce. Me and you talked about Pierce
from
months ago.
Tennessee.
Me and you, Greg, on the phone. Tennessee Pierce. People talking about him in the second round. I go, this dude is going top 12, no doubt. He's too good of a passer.
10,
Greg, you said that you favor the defensive lineman more than you favor the offensive lineman. What scenario are you seeing them trading from 10, right? Let's say Graham is gone. Let's say, Will Campbell is gone, right?
Yep.
What do you see as any other situation other than that they trade out and they trade down trying to maximize it? Because there's and I know mocks are for shits and gigs, but it seems like there's enough wiggle room where you could find a suitor in those mid-teens, and then you could go ahead and maximize the talent.
Did you hear Adam Schefter today talk about that?
He said the difference between 35 and 10 is nothing.
Yeah, he said you're going to get the same player at 10 that you're going to get at 30.
I don't always agree with that shit. It's nice to say that.
I don't think he's. This draft is different up top than most drafts. I feel that way. I don't think. I mean,
I agree with you.
Quarterbacks, and you can say whatever you want to about Travis Hunter. That dude scares the shit out of me.
I wouldn't take him. Anybody from Colorado, I don't take. I just don't.
I'll just say this much with the defensive line to answer Ivan's question. I would love to see a scenario where the Bears trade back, because I think there's plenty of defensive linemen that are worthy of that 10 to 25 range in the first round, and we're right at 10. But you got to find a partner, so then you got to figure out a reason for them to trade up, and who would that be? Ashton Genty, your cornerback 1, or what? Quarterback.
I think if somebody comes up to 10, they're moving up for a quarterback.
Quarterback 3, right? Yeah. So that's going to be the question that we won't know until the night of the draft. And so I'd love for it to happen. I think that's the best play for the Bears, is to trade back and then add another chip to this draft class. But I just don't know if that trade partner will be available this year.
I want to say this to you. You heard Ben Johnson talk about in one of his 500 interviews. I can't remember. It might have been Pro Football Talk, where they asked him about rebuilding an offensive line in one season. Is this possible? And he points out the Carolina Panthers.
He said it at the podium.
But at the same time, he's saying that to Bears fans and the GM. You got to go out and fucking spend money. That is how a head coach should be.
Nolan's been saying it on our network for 5 fucking years. You get what you pay for, and we understand that
you're gonna have to overpay.
There's minefields, but you gotta swing.
Even
while
with
you have Caleb there.
His being Ryan Poles. I don't know if it was at the podium where he was so nervous that he kind of relaxes, but. Yeah, we got to be smart. You're saying the same shit. Just come out and say we got to be aggressive. Stop.
Well, they did.
Not him. His head coach is saying it.
They sent letters to the fucking.
They raised holders 10%. They're the only franchise
that lost. Happens everywhere.
No, I think they're 12% increase over the last 2 seasons of shitty season.
Right, but the stadium's going to be
18%.
Yeah, and the stadium's going to be fucking packed next year, and there's people waiting in line for, Sean Stewart to cancel his season tickets. It's never going to fucking change.
I didn't say it was. I'm just saying it's same old Bears with this stuffy nosed attitude.
You think it's going to be $5 a month to be a CHGO diehard? No, they ain't backing the price up.
So I don't know. I'm just trying to rack my brain before I take off on you guys as far as, some of the things we're hearing here. But obviously, I mean, it's clear they're going to attack the trenches so that, for all the Bears fans that cried about it last year and, rightfully so be it. But
what are you here? Any juicy nuggets? Anything good? Bears
well, I mean,
related?
I put it on Twitter right before I came on here, just through me doing my thing. I can confirm that the Bears met with Mason Graham, and that interview went really well from what I've been told. So
we just need him to slaughter a litter of puppies so he drops to number 10 now.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So, I mean, not really groundbreaking there. I mean, the Bears are going to meet with everybody. Teams meet with everybody. So
I think people need to get used to the name Michael Williams too, to Chicago.
Oh,
yeah.
Another.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I mean.
Was he was at the podium today, Greg? You talked to the defensive lineman today?
Yeah, he was great. Michael
Who was
Williams.
the big standout for you personality-wise?
I mean, Shamar Stewart, Stewart said, if you don't draft me, I'm coming to your city. I'm going to give you hell. That was a good line. He had a little personality to him. James Pierce, I was like really excited to talk to because all this talk about who he is from a character standpoint. Like I wanted to get to know the person. So I stood there for a little bit and listened to some of the answers that he had for the questions, but it's pretty short, like he wasn't, going too deep into himself or indulging with the media. So I didn't really get what I was looking for out of James Pierce. I did ask him what makes him tick. That was the question Dane Burglar was wondering about him. So I was like, all right, I'll ask him that. And he said, to be the best, to be great, and that was it. It's like, okay, cool. And like you guys always say, the tape is going to speak for itself. But, through all these interviews with these teams, they get to be privy to a lot more background knowledge on who they are as people. And this is our one opportunity as fans and media to hear from them until they're drafted. And so this is your chance to kind of get, who, the kind of a peek behind the curtain, who they are as people. We saw that last year with Roma Dunze. I saw that a few years ago with Jordan Addison, who really impressed me at the time with his professionalism. Tank Dell was another guy that just jumped off the page. Zach Frazier last year. I really enjoyed talking with centers every year. These guys are pretty highly intelligent guys and just have a good understanding of the game and, have good perspective. So this year, obviously, you have Mike Green out of Marshall who gets peppered for, 18, 20 minutes about accusations that have come out in the last 2 weeks. That was certainly for me a weird, tough road to navigate. You come right there. He's the first. It's him and, Abdul Carter as the headliners of the first block of interviews at 8 a.m. And everybody's at Abdul Carter. The Bears guys are over at Mike Green. And as soon as I walk over, I'm like, whoa, like he's addressing the media directly before they even ask him a question about these accusations. And you're like trying to get your head around it, right? And he sounds very confident in that he didn't do anything wrong, that he's talked to teams about this, that, he's not afraid to answer any questions about it because this is where he is. And so I can respect that. But at the same time, like I got to be on the even when it comes to this. I'm not going to cast any judgment on him, but I'm also not going to, act like, this is confirmed that he's out of the clear in this too. You know what I'm saying? So, and then at one point, as he's being questioned, somebody
all the Bears guys are over there, like a clique of them, the same click.
Well, for Mike Green, right? Because he's more realistic than Abdul Carter.
At 10,
right.
yeah.
So as that's happening, then he's getting peppered. Well, then this one reporter, she asks him, have you had any previous accusations? And he said, I did in high school. And then he explains that was part of the reason why he had to leave Virginia, because they have a no tolerance policy to that. And he was very offended by that because he never got a chance to have his say. There was a police report. They did their due diligence. They dismissed the case. And ultimately, he was never, got in trouble for anything, but had to leave Virginia. And then he has to go to Marshall. I asked him about what that was like to try to, go there with a reputation where people are asking questions about him. So then he talked about that adjustment. And so the whole thing was kind of uneasy, and his stock was rising so high after the Senior Bowl. And now you have, you'll never have another combine day. We all remember what happened with Jalen Carter, where he didn't even show up to the podium because an arrest warrant got issued. And obviously this is, a different nature, but certainly a serious one just as much. And so it's just one of those things where you're trying to be delicate to the topic. You're letting him have his say, but you got to take what he says at face value and then just understand there's probably more to the story that's going to continue. And if he had not done anything, then I would tell you that I was impressed with how he handled all the questions and how he showed confidence and stood there and took it. But if he did do these things, then I would tell you that he was coached really well, and he's trying to look ahead. So I can't tell you one way or another. Not who am I to try to,
Yeah, but let me ask you this: this happens every year with these talented players. You saw it, obviously. Laramie Tunsil happened 10 minutes before the draft.
Ryan Cox got it right. He's going to fall to 32 to Philly.
Right.
That's what
then they get a great pass rush. Warren Sapp, stuff came out on him. This you brought up Jalen Carter. We obviously know what happens there. So there's a tactic to this from other agents and media types. I mean, and I'm not privy to the latest of it. This is a look back at what transpired in high school, or this recently happened at Marshall? What is the accusation?
The newest accusation is separate from the high school one. The high school one, there was an official police report. He was any charges or
and he's a minor at that point. So the fact that it got out.
This one is just at the accusation level. There hasn't been a police report or anything.
Accusation at Virginia or Marshall? Where is it? Marshall.
Well, no, I'm not clear on this, so don't.
Either am I. That's why I'm like, okay.
All I know is the accusation came out in the last week or two. That I'm not even gonna, because for me, dude, we pull up here and this happens. Like I'm working all day. I literally
we heard about it last week.
Yeah, I'm not even.
What's his name on a podcast brought it up on the first draft or one of these things. There is some trouble history, blah blah blah.
We talked about it on our show, but I let Hogue kind of handle that. He was researching it as I was doing the podium stuff with the other players. I don't honestly I'm not even comfortable speaking too deeply into it, other than what I heard from him and what we all know on its surface. But obviously, it affects his draft stock, and he was somebody that some people had going to the Bears at 10, or if you trade back, he was one of those guys. So regardless, keep an open mind, innocent until proven guilty, but also I'm not going to, presume as, I'm not touching it until we just get down the road and let the teams handle it. And then we'll find out what's what down the road. Obviously, if he ever did anything that he was accused of, or anyone for that matter, that's something that is abhorrent, and you just, not anything that I would ever, you want to be attached to or associated with or advocate for a person like that.
How many more minutes do we have before you get a bounce?
Not many. Negative. You're already in
negative.
Hell?
Well, I'm going. This Emma's fault?
Negative minutes.
This is Emma's fault. This is honestly her fault.
I haven't eaten dinner, and
we have
got a lot to write about.
Every minute I'm in here, I might not. Ben Johnson could be walking outside my apartment right now.
Is Emma taking pictures of your appearance on TTNL and posting it? No,
she isn't.
She isn't. She's got a star. Right. I mean,
so Greg, we got some questions for you that we pulled from the chat. Go ahead. First one is, who do you contribute getting your start in the industry to, and how come you don't shower them with more praise publicly?
Oh my gosh. Was that a anonymous question from a
didn't write it.
From a dentist?
Ivan didn't write it down.
Thinks he's a doctor?
Ivan didn't write it down. who they're from, but that was the
Well,
first.
if it was written by Ivan, it would have been written in crayon.
It is in crayon.
It's in the chat.
The other one got a couple more here. It says, as a professional bricklayer, where did your love of analytics come from, and how did you incorporate them into your craft?
Well, no, I am terrible at math. And so Ben is obviously the exact opposite of this. So I'm just excited to learn about math here for the first time in my life going forward. And that was
why the analytics questions to these guys? Why?
Yeah, you blew us away with that one.
Well, because
it's not your wheel.
That was the one question I felt like wasn't asked at the introductory press conference. I mean, this guy is, a political science math major kind of guy, right? So he knows this end of things. And on top of that, the Detroit Lions have been at the front of the lines on going for it on fourth down as aggressively as they do. And you're seeing that trend buck since they touched it. Now the NFL is following their lead. And that's spilled over into the college game. Obviously, I root for Notre Dame football. Marcus Freeman is a big analytics head coach. You saw the success they had getting to the national championship. And it stood out to me during that run. Marcus Freeman would have his analytics coach standing right next to him. And he's turning to him on 90% of his plays to be on the same page with his guy. Now, that seems like an extreme tactic and approach, but I found that to be interesting. And when you look at Ben Johnson and the way they've had, Dan Campbell's the one that gets all the credit for going for it every time on fourth down. But
he is, because he asked the head coach.
Right, but it's Ben Johnson that is the one that's
his call.
Well,
it's his play call, but the coach has to decide.
Well,
it's on him.
He said the head coach lets him know before the drive, if we get to the 50,
we're going,
or inside of it, we're going to go. So incorporate that into your play call. And then from there, it's
Morales is right. I said political science. I meant computer science. Thank you, Morales. Yeah. But that's my point is this is going to be a big part of his approach of the game. And, Phil's an old school football guy. I just know from baseball, you got the traditionalists that hate the analytics guy. Analytics is coming into every sport, whether you like it or not.
It's been here. Yeah.
It's been
here. And it's been here. And even the traditionalists, they don't want to admit it. They use it. Now, Ben probably is on the further extreme of that, right? But he talked about, because he understands that that's probably his perception. Well, he talked about a healthy balance with it, which is probably what you want to hear. But ultimately, I think as this goes along, and let's hope he's a very successful coach for years to come, I just think that is probably going to be one of the main topics of conversation week to week with this guy, is how analytically driven he is from a personnel standpoint and from a game management and play calling standpoint. So I don't know much about analytics, but that's why I asked the question, to get insight to his.
Moriano's starting a new show all about analytics. But anyways, the next question is, how much more can Jenny do?
How much more can Jenny do? What is she doing? She ain't doing anything.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah, no, just carrying the household on her
Write
shoulder.
down that time
Carrying the household. Get back in your hole.
All right. Here's one. F, marry, kill. Michael Jordan, Anthony Rizzo, Sasha Stefanovic.
Anthony Rizzo, I'd kill him.
Okay.
There you go.
You make me choose.
Yes, that's the game, Greg.
I'd
brick by brick, Greg. Come on.
FMJ, because then I'd find my way to get some money out of that whole ordeal. I'm gonna go down with the.
You gonna have him push you down an escalator?
Well, yeah, that'd be great.
Where are we in the case?
Obviously, any parent would want their child to marry the great Sasha Stefanovic. What a good young man he is.
He's so full.
There
of shit.
you go.
I think I maneuvered through that pretty well. Thank you very much.
All right, and the last one was: have you ever spent $240 on 3 drinks?
Yes, I have.
Was that a year ago?
It was for special people.
Special.
So
Special people.
yeah.
Well, you're a special guy.
We went to St. Elmo's on Monday night. I told Jenny, and she's like, "All right, no more St. Elmo's this week."
Did
Yeah,
Emma
she
keep on
holds
walking?
down the whole fort.
Did Emma
working
keep
her
walking
ass off.
past the table and bothering
Did
you?
Emma walk
Chris
past us?
Emma? Did Chris Emma?
Or what's
bone?
the lady's name in
No.
the back?
Emma. She
Oh,
was
Emma.
Yeah, did
I
she
thought you
keep
meant
on walking
Chris.
past the table?
No, but I'll give you a good story about at St. Elmo's
Emma?
on Monday. Table next to us
Yep.
as they're walking over. Quick story.
Emma, stop, please.
Steven's the one harassing. Steven's the
Oh,
one
Steve.
Emma's
This is about
Emma.
food.
Strike that. Strike it. Fucking Steve. It's always a Steve.
It's always a Steven. You're 100% right. So as we're already seated, here comes the next table next to us, and we're in like the back corner in a nice little private spot of the area of St. Elmo's, and here comes Jim Nance and Tony Dungy.
Oh.
And they come and sit down. I almost said something as they walked past us, but I just let them go by. And they were about halfway through their, sitting down. I don't think they had gotten their dinner yet, but we finished. We're getting ready to leave, and everybody else was scared to say hi. I was like, I'm gonna say hi. And so I introduced myself to Jim Nance and Tony, and Jim was very nice, and so was Tony. But I started with Jim, and I was just like, I couldn't help myself. I'm a Bears fan, and couldn't help but enjoy the fact that the guy that called Devin Hester's opening kickoff of the Super Bowl is sitting with the guy that kicked it to Devin Hester. And Tony was a little like, he's heard this story a million times. He's like, yeah, worst decision of my career. And I was like, well, you won the game, Tony.
Right.
Let me have something.
You call him Tony, not Coach?
Yeah, I didn't call him Coach.
Oh, my God, Greg.
And so,
he's calling him Tony.
And then we talked about with Jim, like how odd it is, or not odd, just sad it is that's like one of the last Super Bowls where you have the flash bulbs popping in Miami as the kick goes up. You don't see that anymore because of cell phones. And as I said that, he's like, yeah, we were just talking about that last night. So they couldn't have been classier, but that's just kind of the scene.
Nice.
Down to Indy, you never know who you're going to run into. So including me. And I'll tell you right now, Brachter, if you run into me, I'm running in the other direction.
Bratcher.
What's his name? What's his name?
He called it Brachter. Count that down. 52 seconds.
What?
52-minute mark.
All right.
All right.
This is way in the
It
negative.
sounded like Yosemite Sam there. So
I didn't know there was a time limit because we had a special guest that was going to surprise you.
You're way
We
in
had
the
a
negative.
special guest that was supposed to surprise you at 9:50.
Yeah, well, I don't have time for Angelo.
I know.
Tonight,
Oh, it
but
wasn't him. It's not
Yeah, it was
Angelo.
a
Even better.
big guest.
Oh my God, Greg, droning on and on. Shut the fuck up, dude.
Anyway, I'm sorry, Steven. We love Emma, though. We've now become big fans of Emma.
All right.
Fuck Steve. Fuck Steve.
All right.
I'm kidding. Greg,
No, I'm
thank
not
you
mad
for jumping on.
What?
Enjoy the combine.
Yeah.
Give us some updates.
What's for
Pick
dinner
up your
tonight?
phone.
They want to go to some Mexican joint? Yeah, they want to go get some Mexican food. So
He could have walked down, got the table, eaten about 2 buckets of chips and salsa. He would have been good. A couple margaritas. Anyway, we love
at
you.
least you guys got my phone fully charged. I'll give you that.
There you go.
I'm not smart.
No, I'm not. Well, yeah, you guys have a good night. Ivan, go fuck yourself. I'll talk to you guys later.
God, Emma's so much better than Greg. So
Emma.
much better.
Emma.
Well, there's our little live update, boots on the ground from Indy.
Greggy boots
Yeah.
that Jen bought him.
Hopefully, Brachter gives us some good updates tomorrow.
Well, I mean, he
Tractor.
is spending Jenny's money out there.
Yeah.
Tractor.
Jenny and Barb are
He
funding. the
makes
whole thing.
money.
He does.
He's making money from CHGO. It's just not making as much as Carm.
No, not yet. Clintonio, $4.99. What does TTNL think will happen to the Bears organization now that Virginia has passed away? Do you think George will sell or will relatives get it? I think we've answered this. I don't know, probably 500-600 times. maybe, but
Well, you gotta catch Antonio.
yeah, no, I'm busting balls, but it's Pat Ryan has the right of first refusal, no matter what. If the Bears go up for sale, he's a minority owner, and he can buy up whatever comes up for sale. So, unless Bezos comes in and the Bears are going for, when
only hope we have here, and I do honestly, I really think it's time. I hate to be the negative guy like this with Poles and McCaskey, but I just think it's time. I think George is an intrusion to winning. I really do. Energetically, how he carries himself, the decisions they make. Now, it might all change because Ben has been given
they gave
more
ownership
power.
an A-. The players did.
Yeah, they have a beautiful facility, right?
Yeah, but they bagged on the food and shit like that.
They
ranked pretty low.
They don't allow cameras access. So all the things like a player that would make a player uncomfortable and should be held to a standard, the Bears have protected the players from. They've given them shitty coaches. There's no accountability. They feed them great. They got a chef on site. They got a beautiful facility. So there's things to like there in ownership. I just don't think that winning mentality, the price tag that goes with that, has been a priority for the McCaskies. It's been let's cruise at conservative, and
they also
not
haven't
creative.
had the head coach. They haven't had
Right. That's why I
the
said they
quarterback.
might
Right.
have gotten this.
Yeah.
They got Caleb, and now they have Ben. I don't know what Ben is yet,
Yeah, nobody
but I
does
like
yet.
what I see. I like how he talks.
Yeah, and I think somebody brought this up today. There's an air of cockiness to him. That's exactly
You
what
need
the fucking
that.
Bears need. Yeah. You're
What
goddamn-
coach wins that isn't?
Wasn't
Give
that
me
what we
one.
were worried about? Wasn't that something we were worried
Yes.
about? What I mean, if he wasn't going to be able to command the room,
Exactly.
wasn't able to hold players.
Now they're
accountable, like-
now they're going the other way, Ivan.
But that's Phil. It goes back to what we talked about with Caleb. It's he plays too much hero ball, gets to the NFL, doesn't play hero ball, and it's like now he needs to play more hero ball.
He's got to throw more interceptions.
Yeah,
so he
throw
can be
more,
better.
more hero ball. Yeah,
Throw
that's
more interceptions.
Well, yeah,
Carm.
we should have brought that up.
We didn't have enough time.
Should have had Emma tweet that out.
How many more interceptions should Caleb throw until he's great?
We should put that as a poll question on our Twitter handle. Tag Carm Shay. What's his name? Shay Snorling.
Snorling, yeah.
I'm snoring.
Okay,
Listening.
Pepe.
Greg is carrying CHGO, says Pepe Silva for $5.
Head up anymore.
Doing awesome work at the combine, brother. I hope he's playing this on the elevator for Steve. Shout out TTNL. Great show as always. Bear down. Well, thank you, Pepe Sylvia.
I appreciate Pepe. It's just
Pepe's a great dude, man.
let's pump the brakes. All right, carry.
I think Greg is doing a great job. I
don't know. I still say
I held him accountable for the analytics question. We didn't get to talk about the dumbass Trey Smith question.
Oh yeah, that was
like putting the smallest guy at the front of the line at the volleyball.
You can't ask a question that you know you're not going to get an answer to.
You're getting spiked on.
Right.
What?
I mean,
it was a waste. I never want to see my boy throw out a waste question.
See, now I feel
Pat
guilty because
Finley.
he called me the day before, and I'm sure it was to
I
accumulate.
know you would have helped him.
Beautifully
called me
crafted
too.
questions.
He
Yeah.
calls me at 3:00. I'm in a meeting. Now he's all upset because I didn't pick up.
Hendricks late to the show. Yeah, that was Paul Allen.
Paul Allen.
Guy. Yep, we talked about it with Greg. But yeah, just
Him and Carm could go in a fucking truck.
Paul Allen has seen 2 games from Caleb and is listening to a narrative. Let's be honest. No, he didn't need to throw more picks. He didn't. That's bullshit. Because like I said, let's just say he doubled, then it's going to be a negative connotation over him.
I feel like
offseason.
we have to do this every week.
It's fucking ridiculous.
We have to talk about this every show.
Yeah.
I will invite every person on the show. Carm, Pat the designer, Herb Howard. Who else is saying this? There's no football equation where interceptions are a good thing ever. In fact, it's the detriment to growth. It's a detriment to the team, and it's a detriment to the social media fake analysts. It just does nothing positive for a young quarterback to throw more interceptions. And to Shane's point, and I want to say this very clear, when you come in with an identity of a prima donna, a hero ball guy, with no context of what he's playing with at USC and what he did there, and you have the painted nails narrative, you have all of this harbored up as an avalanche falling on this kid. You really think that him throwing interceptions is going to be a positive in this? It just piles on. It's stupid, number one. It's ridiculous, number two. And it's pathetic, number three. There's zero good that comes of that.
The hate would have just
especially in
been
football.
magnified. You know what I mean? Like the haters would have just been, they would have been just going at Caleb's throat, going at Bears fans, so going at Caleb's fans' throat.
100%.
They would have been talking so much shit because now not only are the Bears struggling, he's really struggling. And on top of that, he did struggle. I'm not saying he didn't. He had clear rookie mistakes and rookie growing pains. But the fact that he went, what was it, 300 plus passes?
He broke an NFL rookie record without turning over the ball, Ivan.
And was able to fight through this shitty season and still has the motivation and still has that edge to him to want to get better. Like, you got to understand, like, they could have broken somebody the way he went through it. And a lot of it, like, people want to say, you know, it's so much percentage of line, so much percentage. I don't give a fuck. It was all bad. It was all a shit show, and he survived it. And to be honest with you, I think towards the end of the season, he began to thrive in it so much so that the last game of the season, he leads us back on that final drive to go ahead and get in position to kick the field goal to win. When he did that multiple times in the season, we just had incompetence in the coaching staff. And, you know, quite honestly, I don't want to put it down to just that, but it could be just that. Incompetence with coaching lost them a lot of those games that Caleb brought them back in.
Shane said this, and Jack did a great job clipping it, talking about what Caleb had to deal with. And it's not put in perspective nationally. You got Chris Canty on the radio talking about Sam Bowie, and backpedaling like young Dion when he's confronted by it. You got Dan Orlovsky quitting his job because he flip-flops daily and he's getting called out on it. At some point, there has to be some accountability held. TTNL is the only show and network that is going to put people's names to it. I love Herb Howard. I do, but I'm going to hold him, Greg, Courtney, whoever accountable in a context of football that isn't correct. And if you think that's not going to happen, I love Cap, as everybody knows how much Shane and I love this dude. If Cap and I disagree, and we're good. And that's how it should be. But you have so much pathetic, I promise no P words, pathetic wussies out there that want to try to subtly take snipes.
What's going on with this? What's
I said I wouldn't say it tonight.
Oh,
a
not
one
tonight?
night ban, a one night fan on that word.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah,
I thought you were celebrating Lent. I was like, is that time already, or what? What's going on?
Is it? Is it?
It's around the corner. Somewhere. Am I wrong?
Yes, it's around. It's coming. Ash Wednesday. When?
It's on Wednesday.
But the point is, like, there has to be a level of accountability. Carm of CHGO going out there in front of these meatballs and these fans that are already, I mean, look at the fucking battlefield. People called it a civil war. I called it just football stupid when you're fighting over Justin Fields versus Caleb Williams. It's just dumb. And Bears did the right thing. They took the right quarterback. But now you still have guys that are on that hill, still with sniper rifles and fucking what are those things?
This is the thing, and I think Sam is probably right to a degree. They didn't mean it literally. It's more in the context.
No, Sam, you can't.
But the point is, Phil, you can't destroy the kid all off.
That's what I was gonna say.
Pre-draft for playing way too much hero ball. Can he get away from that in the NFL? He did. In a horrible
they didn't give him
situation.
What's his name? Rex. What the fuck's his name? Ross Tucker's out there destroying this kid as if he didn't have the same identical numbers as the guy he's touting the second coming. To Shane's point, Sam, you're 100% right. If they said it in context, and keep Sam up there because I appreciate him. But we're in a day and age where AI is creating videos of people doing things that it's not even them doing. We're in a day and age where AI is producing a tweet that Caleb Williams says, fuck the Washington Commanders, I'm better than... And people are believing that Caleb is saying that. We live in these times. So it's so important, if you're going to analyze this great game of football and not ruin it, that you say it just like you said it, with context. You have to say it clearly. I wish he took more shots downfield is completely and utterly different than saying he needs to throw more interceptions.
It is.
You want to, Sam,
and
you,
does
as a coach, as a scout, I'm telling you, it's immediately, it's
every
completely
week.
different.
Yeah,
But it's every week. It has to be.
I think you and I got into this during one of the we
Yes.
brought it up about this, like, and that's exactly.
Roland
what
was
we're
on
arguing.
2 weeks ago saying you're 100% right, Phil.
Yeah,
This is so dumb.
It's just about how you word certain things, right? And you can't say he needs to throw more picks because it's like, what? Like, I get more chances, but more picks. That's just it sounds dumb, and you can't get around it. You can't get around saying that.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, if you wanted to say he needs to work on his accuracy with his deep ball, that's exactly what he needs to do.
100%
He needs to make more big plays with his arm downfield. Yes.
It's not a metaphor, James. You're fucking so dumb. It's not a fucking metaphor,
Throw
James.
more interceptions means what?
Throw more interceptions means take more chances down the field. It's not a metaphor, James. What is a turnover in basketball? A good pass now? Are you fucking ridiculous?
I was
what are we doing here?
Oh man, I don't understand how you defend that.
You can't.
Yeah, and James' earlier comment was it was meant for him to play more freely. In what fucking offense? I mean, go get sacked 15 times. Come on, man. My guess would be like the back and forth that I had with the guy in the comments on YouTube yesterday, which listen, it always comes out in the sauce what their true issue is. The guy says to me, "Oh, how come we're not talking about the color of his phone case? How come we're not talking about his purse anymore? How come we're not?
How about that?
Oh, are you sure that Shane Waldron didn't go over tape with Caleb because Caleb's a diva? Are we sure that? What are you doing? You've made up your mind with Caleb. That's fine.
There's
He
no
ain't going anywhere.
There's no hypothetical. There's none. It's sad that we live in a day and age like this that we're gonna. It gets me so fired up. It's very important that you go out of your way to be clear with your analysis. Just is.
No, I don't think anybody here said that. I don't think anybody said that coaching made his deep ball bad. No, a lot of it came down to simple fundamentals with Caleb. It came down with the structure of the offense. It came down to timing. It came.
Don't rewrite the descriptions there.
Right, but that
you have a clip of it.
Who the fuck came out and said that Caleb's deep ball was bad because Flus was an awful coach? Nobody said that. Nobody did. I just said Caleb needs to be better at his deep ball. Those were the words that actually came out of my mouth.
No, was there a coach?
I think people have made up their mind, and if you are 75% anti-Caleb, then you're still fixated on his fucking phone case, on his handbag that he had. I mean, has anybody seen any of these players walking into an arena pregame with what they're fucking carrying? I mean, a lot of these guys are carrying handbags.
That dude in the comments was so pathetic.
A lot of these guys are carrying handbags that are more than a fucking mortgage payment for most people. You know what I mean? It's just
how do you improve your deep ball?
Get a better head coach, right?
How do you improve? You have protection because then it's going to marry up with the progression of your drop. So now on my fifth step, I'm going to have a clean pocket, and I'm like, there's so much to this.
But
like Sylvie asking fucking Ben Johnson.
Yeah, it's dumb.
I go, what are you like?
Can you imagine? He asked Ryan Poles, not Ben Johnson. Are you talking about?
Go ahead. Which one are you talking about?
Oh, I'm talking about when he asked Ryan Poles, do you regret not drafting Jaden
no.
Daniels? Can you imagine the fucking firestorm if he had, if I had to do, I mean, what the fuck are you expecting anybody to say there? Guess what? I'd still draft Caleb Williams over Jaden Daniels. Right now,
100%. It's not even close. Those that are saying the Ross Tuckers of the world, they're not watching tape. And that's why it goes all the way back. Sam, where's my guy Sam? All the way back to context. There can't be any gray area in regards to he needs to throw more interceptions. Because guys like Paul Allen, who don't watch every game, who don't look at Caleb Williams' situation with any kind of analytical eye, he's the play-by-play for the Vikings, and I honestly like the guy as a play-by-play. I think he wears his Vikings heart on his sleeve, unlike Jeff Joniak for the Bears for me, who wants to be more neutral. I like a guy that's a homer. That's your job as the play-by-play guy for the home team. Like, God, make the catch. Tom Thayer will jump in with that, but you know what I'm talking about. But he's not watching Caleb.
I like Caleb. I can't hate on Jeff. I agree with some of what you said. Like, he should be a little more homey, but I like Jeff for the most part.
I don't even know if I don't have an issue with Joniak in the booth. I think Joniak away from the booth is kind of where it gets a little, I don't want to say divisive, but he doesn't have a great rapport with fans or people coming up to him. And I mean, that's pretty well documented.
To the social club of the high. That's the issue I have. I think as the play-by-play guy of the like Mark Grody is interacting with fans and people. Jason McKee, gracious. Like you have one. Your fans are the reason you have a fucking job. Don't walk around all high and mighty. Go out of your way. You studying the fucking Cowboys roster.
Well, think about how fucking awesome it is that if you're a play-by-play guy, that a fucking fan even wants to fucking meet you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It even wants to fucking meet you.
I know I've been around people my whole life, Ivan. So yeah, I think Jeff Joniak has a great voice. I really do. I think he's got a, I'll rank my top 2.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yes.
I mean, Jeff,
exactly.
He put
there you go, my guy.
Go back and listen to the clip when Brett Favre played for Minnesota and he threw the interception that would have, sealed their fate of not going to the Super Bowl. And Paul Allen's reaction was, "Come on, man, this isn't Detroit." Can you imagine that coming out of Jeff Joniak's mouth?
No way.
In a game-sealing interception? But that's to Phil's point, that's his, love and fucking passion for the Minnesota Vikings coming through. And I totally get it. But Phil, I want to read this. I want to read this to you
real quick. I'm gonna make my last point.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to give him praise too. Like we said, this show is called Keeping It 100. For those of you new listening here, there's cursing, there's drops, there's guests, there's humor, there's bad words, there's bad takes. There's great takes. It encompasses everything in regards to our truth. So every member of the media, every member of the Bears, every member nationally of the football world, music, movie, whatever, is going to be held to that standard here. If you are getting criticized on here, you should take it as a compliment. That's what the underground Bears network doing it the right way is doing here. You can hate us all you want. As Shane would say, they hate us because they ain't us. But I am going to put your name to it if I think it's, and I will say Jeff Joniak, to finish my thought, has a great voice. I have my top 2 male vocalists are Luther Vandross, number 1, Michael McDonald, number 2. That's my.
I thought you were going to throw Jeff Joniak.
Here is.
I thought you were going to say Luther Vandross and Jeff Joniak. I was like, oh,
I'm just saying, I know a good voice. He's got a good voice.
Oh, man.
He's got a good voice. But, like Shane said, it's the other stuff that encompass. Jeff, work on being a better person to the fan.
Well, see, I never do that.
I said it to Jim Larison. This dude met Jim Larison, and I don't care, Jim. He's played golf with Jim Larison. He's met him 7-8 times. It might be more. Jim will have to clarify. Jim's 10 feet from the dude, and you would not even know if the guy knows him. I don't like that, man. That pisses me off more than anything you could do. Is when you just can't be authentic or bigger and say hello. I just don't like that. But anyway.
All right, so here we go. So where did the Bears rank in number of play action passes in the NFL?
I gotta
32
say
teams.
Last.
Ivan?
I'll say
these numbers are from Kevin Fishbane.
7th.
He's good guest.
What did you say?
27th.
I thought you said 70th. Like, there's been a lot of expansion going on.
I do love Yacht Rock, Shane. I was just telling Shane about that. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
I'll say 31st. I'll give him one up.
So the Bears ranked 29 out of 32
it was
teams.
close.
And who was the number 1 team in the NFL?
Without
with play action passes.
Buffalo.
The Detroit Lions.
The Detroit Lions.
Yes.
Nice.
What does Phil always say, Ivan? Can't win without play action and running the ball. Just can't.
If you
Look, I know
guys,
you say a lot of shit, so I don't know what you say.
I would
Disagree,
suggest
Ivan.
you guys, if you haven't,
There's your note.
Go listen to Ben Johnson with Big Cat and PFT.
Mm-hmm.
That interview, because it's they ask him some great questions. Ask him flat out, do you like using a fullback? Yes, 100%, absolutely. So just those little things, Phil. And can a good fullback, Phil, help you sell your play
I know a
action
good
pass?
H-back. A really solid H-back that's going to be up.
He's a tight end.
Do you like the shovel pass?
I
They
do.
asked him. Ben
Not
Johnson,
to the tight end.
Not a big fan.
Not to the tight end.
He said he's not a big fan of it.
I don't think I've ever run a shovel pass
I'll be
as a
right
coach
back,
either.
guys.
So
Not to a tight end, not to Cole.
never,
Kmet.
not to anybody. I've never run it.
They ran it a couple of times to Trey Burton with some success.
Remember when they made Adam Shaheen?
Oh God,
They ran a shovel pass to Cole Kmet this year. They actually got a successful 2-point conversion out of it.
Yeah, they did.
Who was that against?
I don't know. I can't.
No
remember.
one loved it more than fucking Matt Nagy.
Oh no, he did love it.
He called the shovel pass.
They did it a couple of
midfield.
times on like 3rd and 6. Well, that was another thing that Ben Johnson was talking about, was the number of times that they ran on like 3rd and 4 and 3rd and 5 and 3rd and 6 and even 3rd and 8, and the number of times that they converted. Yes, the offensive line obviously helps, but it was with the mentality that Dan Campbell instilled in, hey, if you get to this boundary on the field, we're going for it no matter what. So Ben used that to his advantage with these 3rd down calls. I don't think there was a lot of that going on with the Bears, Phil. I think it was more of the boom, all right, yeah, we're going for it. I don't think it was a predetermined thing leading off of a drive. I really don't.
Listen, there's situations where it becomes a situational call. That on 2nd down, you had no plan of going for it on 4th down. So he's going to be in charge of that. That's why I like the fact that he talked about Declan Doyle.
Yep.
And he was saying he's going to have to step up in my place as I tend to other things.
Did you hear him say that he called James Morton to talk specifically about Declan Doyle? Did you see that part of it?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, he said that he called James Morton, or John Morton, sorry, and said, hey, what about Declan? Do you think he's ready to be an offensive coordinator? Do you think he's ready to take that next step? And John Morton's words to Ben Johnson were, I got to tell you, he's the next Ben Johnson.
That's what he said?
That's what John Morton, who is the new OC for the Detroit Lions, by the way, that's what he told Ben Johnson.
Well, we'll see about that. Jesse Kilborn. Getting up in the air, grabbing that ball. Love when they asked him about if he'd rather be called offensive guru or offensive genius. And Ben responded by saying, I want to be called a goddamn good football coach.
Yeah.
I love that too. I wanted to.
He called out the Cubs too, because they asked if
I guess he's going to be opening day, right?
Well, come to find out, they said
Ivan better be there.
They
He'll be at the Sox game.
They emailed the Bears
thank you,
2
sir.
hours before the interview, so they didn't know, but they had asked him if he had been invited yet, and he's like, no, I'm actually kind of surprised. And he goes, I tell you what, when I get on that mound, I'm going to throw the piss out of that ball. Too.
Yeah, I like that.
So, yeah, I do like and the other part that was funny, they asked him if he was a cat or a dog guy. He's like, oh, a dog guy. And he's like, oh, that's good because
Last year,
that
not
we
saying
talked
any
to-
names. Yeah.
multiple cats. And he's like, oh, what coach
Multiple.
was that? And he's like, oh, well, he might have had the job that you have right now last year. He didn't say too much after it. And they're like, oh, do you have a dog? He's like, oh, no, I don't have a dog.
There was an interview way back where, again, I don't remember who did it because I totally would give him credit. And they were asking him, it was more of a national guy, it wasn't local media, about the Thanksgiving Day game and about a certain coach. And he doesn't say it, but you're watching, he's going like this. What happened? What would you do in the situation that transpired if you were on the other sideline? And he goes like this, signaling, if you're listening, he's putting the T together for timeout, which Coach Eberflus did not call on Thanksgiving Day. Thus, he lost his job, but he did not say it audio-wise. He just said he'd rather not. Was with Danny Parkins.
Yeah.
So it was great because the coach, I need authenticity. I'm sorry, George McCaskey, you've hired a bunch of sandbaggers, guys that don't give a shit and just are happy to be here. And what a glorious breakfast brunch you've put out for us. And wow, I'm going to wear this bee hat with pride. And that's it. There's no angry, authentic intensity that comes with your culture, your upbringing, your competitive drive that you want this fucking team to win a championship. Ben is showing me that he has that ego, that swag, that Richie Cunningham swag, because he looks like a nice church-going boy. But he's got that.
Well, before we bring out our next guest real quick, I'm going
Yes.
to ask you guys a question I want you to ponder because
Are you asking the chat because you froze for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was asking you guys. Ivan.
Me and Ivan.
Ocean, yes.
Yeah.
So in terms of a mock draft, is Phil frozen for you, Ivan?
Yep.
Yeah, so Phil is frozen.
Phil's got
Dude, what happened?
Yeah, you were frozen.
I saw him. I've never seen my screen go like that.
Yeah, my guess is Devin is involved somehow, but we'll see. But anyways, if we run a mock draft and you get to number 10 and the Pittsburgh Steelers call you and they are at number 21, do you want multiple picks this year? So do you want, let's say, a 2 and a 3 this year, or would you prefer to settle for their first round pick next year, along with picking up number 21?
Oh no.
Wait.
We're gonna like it's multiple. Even if number 1 was in play next year, there's got to be more picks than just swapping this year. There can't be. I don't think.
No, but I'm saying overall, yeah. So you'd probably get like a let's just say you got like a 4th back
this year, and then
and their first next year. I mean, it's not going to be because that's the Bears essentially made the same move. The Bears went from 20 to 11 for Justin Fields.
Well, then I'm sitting and grabbing two draft picks this year.
So you take the second, if it was like a second and a third that you could get, you'd prefer that over a first next year from Pittsburgh?
I would, because essentially, well, not essentially, they're telling us they need to go ahead and strike right now. They need to get off the bus running. All jokes aside, they need to have as much
How
talent
come I can hear you?
in their
Can you hear me?
hands.
I can hear you.
I can't hear Ivan.
Oh, I don't know.
It's weird.
Anyway,
Me and you are moving perfectly, but
try to bounce out and come back in. Yeah, I think he's
messing up.
having
Well,
issues on his end.
To finish my thought, they need to have enough talent in their hands to go ahead and be able to develop, really put competition out there on the field to mold. Like there's no scenario where adding more talent is a bad thing, especially to a team who's got a new coach who clearly wants to go a younger route, but and try to kind of clean up the mess that is on both lines. I'm just eager to see what Ryan Poles does with that number 10 pick, whether it be with Pittsburgh or not, Shane. But you have to have at least 2 picks right here, right now, plus the swap for me to be enticed.
Yep. No, I just think it's a good talking topic because the Bears made that trade up in 2021 with the Giants. It's essentially the same jump. I mean, this would be from 10 to 21, and the Bears went from 20 to 11.
I'm down with it. It just needs a, like I said, I hope there's not any type of a surprise pick at 10, if we, what I mean, a reach at 10 or something like that. If the Bears see that there's more of value in moving back and adding talent, by all means, please do. And, Greg said the same thing. Greg kind of sees that as a route. I see that as a route. I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, maximize the potential of adding talent, right? You have to have the talent on the field. We hope we have the coaching staff. They have a great coaching staff that they put together right here, right now. It looks great on paper, but you clearly, and people have been saying this, you don't have the talent that's complete to complete the team. The team is not complete by any stretch of the imagination. So add the talent.
No, I get it. And I just, where was that one that I just saw? I can't find it. But anyways, yeah. And when we say that you can't take a running back at number 10 in Ashton Genty, it's none of us are against his talent at all. We are all fans here. You would have to have a massive unrestricted free agency, period. And just literally hit homers for that to become a viable option for me at number 10. And that is nothing against Genty's talent at all. I guess there is a pathway where you could do it, but
even then you could get quality backs in the later. You could get multiple quality backs in the later, rounds of the draft, especially if you go ahead and trade out of that 10 spot, like Shane was saying, and you get to a team like Pittsburgh. They give you 2 more picks in the second and the third round, and you're like, Greg had talked about the talent, the interior talent of the draft, right? As guards, centers. We're talking about our guy Gray Zabel right there at 21, right? We're talking about, Booker might be up there. I don't know what the finished product of all this, the offseason is going to be once the draft hits. But there's interior talent in that area. There might even be a tackle in that area of the draft that we can grab while we go ahead and also add on more players to give to Ben Johnson and his coaching staff. That's my dream for this offseason. Trade that 10 pick, maximize the potential of with the talent in the draft.
I hear you, man. I'm just texting Phil to see what he's got going on his end before we bring our guest out here. But I don't want to make him wait too long, so want me to? Oh, here he comes back. Check and see if he's good. Doesn't look too promising so far. Are you getting the spinning on your end, Ivan?
Yep, same thing.
Yeah. So I'm assuming he's. Let me bounce offline here, Ivan, real quick. Can you just hold court for a second? Let me give him a call. I'll be right back.
Sure. Let's see if we answer some questions here. Yeah, Phil, you're still spinning. Yeah, Phil's out. Well, yeah, thank you, Kerry. Yeah, the car shirt's hilarious. Hendricks, you say trade down. Yeah, trading down for me is the spot for the Chicago Bears. You're gonna have guys like, Steve, you just mentioned Josh Simmons. He might be down there because of the scare with his knee. Phil, are you back? You back, Phil?
Hold on. I'm talking to Shane.
Oh, shit.
I rebooted the router because I don't know what happened in here.
Oh, all right. Well, to Steve's point, like Josh, there's guys that'll
The
be
whole
down
fiber
there.
went down.
Did it? Yeah, Shane's back. Yeah.
I'm back.
The whole fiber network went down here.
All
The
right.
whole
Well,
street went down.
let's bring out our patient guest, and then when we let him go, we can get into this. So we're not going to go super late tonight. It's already 10 o'clock, but we can get into this just a little bit more after we let our guy go here. Phil, do you want me to roll the intro? I didn't realize the intro was so long.
Is it that long?
2 minutes, 30 seconds.
Angelo. Yes. That's just
it's the hype.
All right, good, Claudio. Very good.
But what about Angelo? What about Angelo?
Tape never
What
lies.
is Angelo Marino from Wallingford, Connecticut?
But what about Angelo?
What about Angelo?
What about Angelo?
What about
What about Angelo?
What is Angelo Marino from Wallingford, Connecticut?
What about Angelo?
What about Angelo? But what about Angelo? What about Angelo?
What about
Angelo?
What about
What about Angelo?
What about
Angelo? What about Angelo? What about Angelo?
What about
Angelo, eh? What about Angelo?
Thank you.
What about Angelo?
There he is.
What a beautiful video.
Angelo, you're chewing Nicorette gum, I think, right?
No,
Right now?
it's Wrigley's gum from Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, really?
Wrigley's.
Illinois. You put the
Yeah.
S on the end there and pronounced it. I like
Right
it.
here, baby. Made in Chicago.
Did you know
Illinois.
that Ivan Vargas is married to one of the Doublemint twins from the commercial?
That's
True
right.
story?
No, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
97 years old.
Yes.
Wow.
He likes them old and
That's a
dusty.
good number. That's a very good number.
So what's
Well, I wanted to say, what a beautiful video. That's a beautiful video of good memories.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
You've been around with us for a long time. So
Yeah.
you're rocking the Pizza Hut hat. Is that new
Yes.
or is that a
I don't work at Pizza Hut. They no longer exist. I think we have maybe 2 or 1 in the state of Connecticut. This was a gift from my cousin Joe
Nice.
as a shits and giggles hat, just for fun. That's all.
Nice.
Yeah.
DDP is back.
It said I had
What?
to relaunch Chrome
I don't know.
for an update.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. I had a train pass by.
Did you see Angelo's hat, Phil?
There he is, his new job.
Pizza Hut.
He's
Deliver pizzas now.
delivery. He's delivering
Fast
pizza.
delivery from Pizza Hut.
That's right.
Listen, they're getting the sponsor for this show.
Did you have a go-to order at Pizza Hut back in the day, Angelo?
No, but I remember seeing all the delivery boys with their Pizza Hut magnetic lights when I was a kid.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah,
The magnetic lights, Shane.
yeah.
Yeah.
They had
There
it
you
back
go.
in the 80s, yeah, and the 90s.
Angelo,
Terry-
what do you think
Terry
about
Franklin took Ivan and I to Pizza Hut in Chicago.
that was not Pizza
Mhm.
Hut?
I'm kidding.
Angelo, what do you think about this shirt?
Let me see. Let me take a look at it. That's a nice shirt, Ivan.
You know who it is?
Who is that guy?
Who's that
Maybe
guy?
you should bring it closer to the.
Who
I
is
can't
that
see. I
guy?
can't make up who it is.
Let's see.
Is that you?
No. Where's your cardboard cutout? Do you remember your buddy in the cardboard?
Is that
cutout?
Cars? Yeah, I got it right here. You want to get Cars?
That's
Yeah.
Cars.
You got
All
cars.
right, wait a minute.
Hold
Hang on.
on.
Let me just this real quick.
Is that how many
Let me go get
fridges you
Cars.
got back there?
Cars is right here.
There he is.
There you go. Look at the eye of Cars.
Yeah.
Cars has twins on the way, by the way.
Nice.
Holy cow. Angelo and Ivan, he said he's going to name them.
Yeah, Angelo and Ivan. That's what we're trying to get them named.
Cars is very popular here in the barn.
Yeah.
Very
He
popular. in
watches
the
the barn when I go away.
Cars watches over the barn.
I love it. So, Angelo, what's on the agenda for the weekend coming up? Anything fun?
I'm gonna go do some shopping, and clean the house.
Nice.
Nice.
Keeping busy.
Yeah.
What are we shopping for?
We're gonna be shopping for groceries and some clothes here and there. That's all.
Now, going back to November, Angelo made his debut, Ivan. And I know Ivan's been working on this intro. Angelo the Psychic. He made this.
Been on fire.
He's been on fire, Ivan.
Yeah.
Then he came back and predicted the Super Bowl.
Really?
Yeah.
But if we go back, Angelo the Psychic predicted that the Lions would win, but it'd be close. But the Bears would fire their head coach.
That's exactly right.
And he was right on both. He was right on both.
Yeah.
So then,
Shane, can I have your permission to push Cars away or no?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right,
you don't have to ask.
There you
Angelo,
go, buddy. You gotta go sleep.
Angelo, how many pieces of gum are you chewing?
A lot.
Only one tonight. That's all. Only one.
Okay.
I normally chew two.
it's Wrigley's gum from
Yeah,
Chicago.
from Illinois. I guess the company is from Illinois. Wrigley's.
How many
Wrigley's.
How many cigarettes did we smoke today, Angelo?
Today we did about 10.
I have a feeling it's closer to 15 or 16.
No.
All right.
I have a pack right here. I can show you.
All right.
All right. Where's the other pack? That's.
So, Angelo, where did you go to lunch today? Tell me.
I went to McDonald's.
And what did you order?
You know what, man? I was such in a rush.
Oh, he didn't do it, Phil.
No, I didn't do it. I got a small cheeseburger and a 10-piece chicken nugget and a medium Coke. And then I was off to go home. That's it.
What do you dip your nuggets in?
Barbecue sauce and honey mustard.
Okay.
Oh, you're not a sweet and sour guy.
No.
Oh, wow.
Ivan, we told him to get the Angel Reese meal
Yeah, he didn't get the Angel Reese meal
at McDonald's.
Now, guys, what does that contain of exactly? What does that contain of?
It's just
A lot of missed shots and rebounds. That's
it's
all.
very healthy food.
Bacon barbecue double cheeseburger, sesame seed bun, double the bacon on the bottom.
Wow, that sounds good.
And a bad field goal.
That sounds good.
It comes with a large or medium fry, depending on what size combo you want. And what do you drink normally? Coke?
Coke,
Sprite?
and then I went for a Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, you're just like my kids.
Yeah.
They always want Dr. Pepper.
You know, Phil, I am a big kid. I'm 40 years old. I still play with toys, believe it or not.
He-Man and the Masters of the Universe.
I
He-Man.
actually I went to Barnes & Nobles. I bought a big Lego to build the Millennium Falcon from Star Wars. I'm building it right now as we speak.
The what?
Say that again. Say that again. The what?
The Millennium Falcon.
Okay. And how long is that going to take you, do you think?
You know, I can do it one day, but because I have to be an adult, I can't do it one day. I only did the number one. I did one bag so far. It comes with 10 bags.
And how much?
So it's gonna take a while.
How much did this Millennium Falcon cost?
It was $140.
Wow.
140.
But you know what? It's good fare. It keeps me busy. You know.
On that shit.
How many cigarettes did you smoke while you were putting that together?
6 or 7.
Can you?
We should have a Lego competition. Bullets versus Angelo. While the show's going on, who makes the thing first? The same project, Shane.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They're
Wow.
both building
Rivals.
Millennium Falcons.
This guy,
That would be
Bullet,
very exciting.
He's a rival against you. You know what our kicker says about him, right?
Yeah.
Fuck you, What does our kicker say about him, Shane?
Says,
fuck you, Bullets.
Fuck you, Bullets.
Now,
wait a minute.
Where did you buy this?
Ivan, did the drops work?
Barnes and Noble in North Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah, Phil,
right.
something's wrong with your computer, bro. Because I just played the drop.
Fuck you, Bullets. I can't even see the drop on my end.
Yeah, I don't know what
You can see the drop, right, Angelo? Can
Yeah.
What? Can you see this image right here?
Fuck you, Bullets.
Yeah.
You have nothing
Yeah.
coming up. Yeah.
Angelo can see it.
His internet is foobard. And you know how that makes me feel.
Duval.
I'm sure Phil's losing his mind right now. So, all right, I'm looking at it right now. Did you know that you can buy the Lego Star Wars Death Star for $1,719 on Amazon.com?
No, I didn't know that, Shane.
Man, I would not have enough patience to do one of these, Angelo.
You know what? As I was doing, I said, I remember when I was a kid, I had all the patience in the world, all the time in the world. Now that I'm 40, oh my God, I'll swim bullets doing it, you know?
What would you do if you got it all together and your cousin Angelo came in and picked it up and threw it on the floor? What would you do?
I would get mad, just
Yeah.
like in the movie Step Brothers with Will Ferrell. Don't touch my Millennium Falcon. Whatever you do.
Would you drag your nuts across his drum set?
I would put my nuts on the Millennium Falcon. Do not touch my Millennium Falcon.
That might hurt. That might hurt.
A little bit. It
So
might
what's
tickle too.
There you go. How's the barn? Is it warm there tonight?
It's okay. It's not that cool outside. I do have a heater. Look, it's a ceramic heater.
You got a
so it's doing a good job.
You got a fireplace right there too. Is
yeah,
that
the fireplace
electric?
doesn't really do too much heat, but this one does.
We don't need to burn that fucking place down, Angelo, right?
Yeah,
I know.
What do you think your dad would do in the morning if you burnt that fucker right down to the ground? What do you think?
My father would have a heart attack. Get right back up and smoke 20 cigarettes.
Angelo, do you remember Greg Bragg's, Angelo?
Oh yes, I do.
Okay,
Suzanne Summers' ex-husband.
Yes, he does. He remembers. So
Yeah.
he was on with us earlier, but he had to leave early, Angelo. So you don't even have to read those questions anymore. We had to give them to him early because he couldn't stay any
All
longer.
right.
He had
I had
to go.
him written down right here,
I
ready
know.
for Mr. Braggs. Ready.
We'll get you some more next time we have him on.
All right, good.
So, but I don't really know. I think Phil's having some big time issues here, Angelo. So we don't want to keep you too long. I think we're going to get out of here a little bit early. Ivan and I still have a little bit more football to talk about.
Angelo, real
And-
quick, would you think you think I'd kick Greg Bragg's butt or no?
Yes, because you're from the Navy. You are in the Navy, Ivan.
See, that's what I said. Thank you, Angelo.
Yeah.
Thanks, Angelo.
You want, man.
All right, Angelo. So what I think we're gonna do is we're gonna repivot and we're gonna bring you back again, obviously, but we're gonna bounce out of this tonight, and we'll let you go a little bit early because we still have a little bit more football to talk. Phil's not gonna be here because he's having some internet issues,
All
that
right.
all right with you?
I guess the football gods might be mad at him right now.
They probably are. Yeah.
All right. Don't worry.
But
They will
all right.
spare his life.
Well, you
Listen, so I can go home now.
Yes, you can. Yep.
All right. I wish I could stay longer, but what can you do?
No stopping at McDonald's or Dunkin' Donuts on the way home. We need healthy.
I'm going straight home, and maybe I might do bag number 2 for the Millennium Falcon.
Sounds fun.
Actually, send us a picture of your progress.
Yes, I will. I will.
All right. We love you, man.
All right, guys. Bye, Ivan. Bye, Shane.
Angelo.
Yep. See you,
I'll see
Angelo. Angelo Joseph Marino, live from Wallingford, Connecticut. So, yeah, I don't have an update from Phil here, but it sounds like he's having some issues. So
That's where you can't even see the drops.
yeah,
Yeah.
Something's telling me that Phil needs to update his on his end. But let's bring this up here, Ivan. And we're gonna rip through one of these real quick.
Let's do it.
So Pittsburgh, we can get their second and third to drop to 21.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that you are interested in?
I'd do it. And I would.
So these
I would do it regardless of.
Pierce is available. Green, Kenneth Grant. I still think Kenneth Grant's going to end up moving up.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Simmons, and for the life of me, I think Mykal Williams is ranked too low.
Right. So, and that goes to what Greg was saying about the defensive lineman projecting higher in his end than the offensive lineman, which I could see that happening. I could see a lot of guys falling, but I could also see a team like the Patriots being desperate enough to say, "Hey, we can't just fucking let a tackle slide and go after somebody with how bad our offensive line played last year." And I think that the Bears are in a position, like I said before, to maximize the potential that they get in the draft. And it's to me, it's a perfect scenario. Maybe others are not in that same kind of thought process, but for me, hey, trade down. We need more players. We need more talent. If we have the coaching staff, they believe they have the coaching staff that's going to, tutor these guys and coach them up right. You need to add more talent so they can do that.
Oh boy, things are blowing up on Twitter right now because I don't know if you saw the little back and forth. Jordan Schultz put out a report, and then Ian Rappaport came on and essentially said that
it was false.
It was false, and Pro Football Talk is now reporting that Jordan Schultz of Fox verbally accosted Ian Rappaport of the NFL media at an Indianapolis Starbucks on Wednesday afternoon. The report has been made to NFL security, which is investigating the incident. So
shit.
So that's very, very interesting. But anyway, so yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this, Ivan. And I don't know, like I said, I am very high on Josh Simmons, the offensive lineman. But again, his medical recheck at the combine is going to be very, very key. I know you and I have talked about him a little bit. I just don't love him enough without knowing the medicals right now to turn down the extra picks that I could get by bouncing down with a team like Pittsburgh. I mean, we've been offered 3 trades, so it's Pittsburgh, the Rams, and the Washington Commanders.
I'm staying away from Washington.
Yep.
I was just Pittsburgh because you're not going to deal with whoever they pick in your conference.
Yeah, and there's some talk that they've inquired on Stafford. There's been some talk that Aaron Rodgers is interested in going there, but maybe they may not be too high on that. But who's going to be their quarterback? That's the critical part. And I know when we're talking about the first rounders in 26, people are saying, "Oh, they always finish 500 and blah blah blah." Well, we'll see. If you have chaos at quarterback, it's never a good thing. We'll see how that wraps up. So, yeah. So if we go with number 10, for 21 and 53 and 85. And I mean, you could actually, I don't think that the Bears could pull off the fourth rounder. Also, I think that that's too much. These guys, I think it only takes it down. Yeah, it takes it to an 84%. But I don't think that that's super viable. I don't know how you feel on that. I don't think it's really realistic.
I try to, especially when I do my mock drafts, like you do the mock draft shows and stuff. I try not to go overboard. I try to be as realistic as I can. Like, closer to the draft, the more you see things open up, the more the more realistic you could be. So,
exactly. So just to show you, so you can put in the round one, and it takes you to a 63% chance, and this is through PFF. I mean, you can actually improve your chances if you throw them 149 and take back 142 or 122. It drops it a little bit, but like I said, you get yourself some assets.
I want guys right now. I want guys that can help right now.
All right, so we're gonna do that trade, and then we're gonna resume, and then we're gonna see where we fall in line. And boy, for me, just going through here and seeing who's available, I'm looking hard at Michael Williams and Membu. I don't know how you feel. Have you dove into Membu too much?
I haven't gone. Actually, I don't think I went into Membu. No.
Yeah. That's kind of where I would be. Listen, Shamar Stewart is a fantastic prospect, but I just can't get over the fact that he's got 4.5 career sacks in college. He had a sack and a half last year. Built the way that he is, that is a fucking red flag for me.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you get these guys that that body beautiful type of look, the physique, and they just don't have that edge to them. And it's not knocking. It's not knocking, like, I guess their commitment to being fit, physically fit. It's just that doesn't win. That's not a football player. That's not the complete football player. You have to have that edge. You have to want to play the game. And some guys just don't. Some guys just don't want to play the game. They don't love it. They don't love it enough to go ahead and do that.
So they have been offered, Cleveland, Vegas, the Jets, and Cincinnati, but I'm not interested in going from 21 right out of the first round completely, especially with the talent that I see that's available. Are you co-signing that? Are you?
I don't want to trade. If I want to take a first round talent, like, that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I don't want to. Yeah, I'm under agreement with you there. I don't want to completely go out of the first round, but depending on what again, if we're here, if there's something better that's out there, obviously you're going to listen to it. But for me, I would rather take a player here than trade back any further.
Welcome back, Mr. Atoshin. We said our goodbyes to Angelo. We didn't want to use him up too much, so we could talk a little bit more football before we get out of here. So we fired up the mock draft machine. Go ahead.
Model. I think it's my Ethernet cord went.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm connected all the way into the router.
Yeah. So if you unplug it and go,
I went on Wi-Fi,
and it's fine,
onto my laptop.
Could the puppy be involved?
I don't know. That's what Steph said.
Yeah. I say it's either the puppy or Tate and Devin.
I'm like, I never seen anything like it. Just started acting up.
Well, just to give you a rundown, Phil, we were at number 10. Pittsburgh came calling. We could have got a 26 first rounder, but we took the assets this year to
do they put players in this as well?
No, not in this one. So we are down. Phil, have you jumped into Membu too much, the offensive lineman from Purdue?
The one from Missouri?
Missouri.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, I said Purdue. I meant, yeah, my bad.
Yeah.
He went from Missouri. Yep.
Yeah, it's a very talented guy. I mean,
Yep.
Play inside or outside. Again, another guy put in the first round.
Yep, absolutely. And the other guy, we brought up Shamar Stewart, and I love the attributes. I love, his get off and all of that. But to me, there is some major red flags. I mean, how you're going your entire collegiate career with 4.5 sacks and a sack and a half last year, with the way that you're built and playing at Texas A&M, that is a red flag for me. I don't know how you feel about that.
Say that again. I'm sorry. I was reading the text. I was getting the measurements from the defensive tackle. I thought you were talking to Ivan.
No. I was talking. I already talked to Ivan about this. So Shamar Stewart.
I apologize.
Yeah, Shamar Stewart. What I was talking about is, how do you is it a red flag for you when you see a guy like that has the attributes that he does, and you get a sack and a half out of him, and only 4.5 in college?
I don't think it concerns you. I mean, you look at some other players that have had low sack numbers only to go into the NFL and be on a team. I mean, it's a team game. A lot of teams were going out of their way to scheme block him because he's a game wrecker, and they knew that. So I just look at the freaking player, and we'll take a look at him. I have a very high grade on the kid.
So
the production is going to concern you.
So you see who's there right ahead of him, correct?
Mikael Williams, yes.
Right. So where would you be? I have Mikael Williams over him.
Well, I was getting a text about the defensive lineman from Michigan, and he
won. Kenneth Grant.
He's 6'4", 322.
Yeah. Yep. But he's gone.
Oh.
He went 13th to the Miami Dolphins. They have him here at 6'3", 339. But yeah.
Pierce went right above us.
So Pittsburgh traded up, strangely enough, for a fucking tight end.
I said that in the fucking to Greg.
Yeah.
If Ivan goes back and pulls that audio, it was me saying I could see Pittsburgh trading up for the tight end from Penn State.
So
quarterbacks, I said the tight end.
My top two guys that I would be choosing between here are Mikael Williams and Membu. Are my top two.
Shamar Stewart
would be in there, but he's not my top two.
Who else is on? Starks, no.
Golden, I like. You can't take a wide receiver. Jalen Walker, Gordon, Darius Alexander.
Connerly is very good. I don't have this first round grade on Cole Loveland like a lot of everybody else does.
Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and
I have Mikael Williams.
Yep. I think Ivan. I think you do too. Correct.
Yeah, I'll take Mikael Williams right here.
I have Mikael Williams slight head of Shamar Stewart.
So Mikael Williams is only 20 years old.
Mikael has twitchy stuff that is on
6'5", 265, and that is going to go in line with what Dennis Allen wants on his defensive lineman also. So we are going
Williams in the Texas game. Oh my God.
So there we go. And now we are on the clock again at number 39. I'm not against Loveland down here. I'll just
he's a second round tight end.
And I think that he was limited big time with who he had passing the football in Michigan. But here we go. We don't have any trade offers. TJ Sanders. Ivan, you got a thought on him? Are you familiar, or have you dove into him too much?
I haven't gotten into the D tackles yet.
Oh, Bill, You have a thought on Sanders or Tyreek Williams?
Said my internet again.
Oh, freezing up. Well, just bounce, man. We're gonna wrap this up and we'll get out of here. There's no sense of.
I just don't understand it now.
Yeah. Well, maybe there's some sort of a.
I could stay if it freezes. I'll go out. I saw it drop. Did I freeze on you?
No.
No, it didn't for me.
I just saw I never see that Wi-Fi thing come up.
Yeah.
Xavier Watts, though, Shane, he's intriguing here in these two spots because you don't know what you're going to get with a Jaquan. But everybody, of all counts, it seems like Jaquan's okay. But you can't tell me Jaquan's okay when he sat out 10 weeks. And yeah, I would
have to take Booker here.
I like the fact that he took, was precautious with his health, but you set out 10 weeks in the National Football League after one of the biggest hits that I've ever seen. And to be honest with you, I don't have a lot of true comfort in him being healthy throughout the regular season. Like it's the nature of how he plays. You know what I mean? Like you can't. Maybe he can learn how to play differently, but then that'll take away what makes him great, right?
Yep.
So for me, I truly thinking about safety here in Xavier Watts, a guy who could generate turnovers, who's been a great leader for Notre Dame in the back end. That's somebody you need to look at.
Yeah, and he is a little bit older, so I know that plays into it. I mean, he's going to be what, a 24-year-old rookie.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting. But man, that you have a lot of defensive linemen staring you right straight in the fucking face to really beef up your line. On top of it, Sanders is interesting. Tyreek Williams. I'm a Jack Sawyer fan.
If Booker's there, obviously, I mean, we talked about this before. We'd probably go Booker right here immediately.
Oh, 100%.
Especially since we took the edge with Mykal Williams. So, I mean, to me, like that's where I'm going. Like, if it's not defensive interior, it's offensive interior.
Yep.
So.
Well, and the thing, I guess the way that you got to look at it too is you have another pick coming up here at 41. So do you want to risk another defensive lineman or do you want to risk Booker dropping one? So
right.
I'm just saying that's the game that you have to play. And I mean, you can look at other situations. I'm definitely not in the wide receiver game there. I'm not going running back up here. I could be talked into Loveland actually pretty easily. I just think he's very, very good. But again, man, it's tough to. Listen. I don't think that there's a ghost chance in hell that he's anywhere near here. I think he's going to be a guy that's 100% in play at number 10 overall on draft day. And you can clip this, and I think he'll be moving up the board very, very easily. So, Ivan, if you settled on Booker here, what is your play for 41? If we're looking ahead, crystal ball wise.
Well, like I said, it all depends on what they're doing free agency, but if we're just going to go blind right here, there's a lot of meat on that defensive line. There's a lot of things you can do.
I hear you, bro.
To help yourself out. And like I said, and I'm not saying they're going to grab Watts here. I'm saying that it needs to be a thought because you have to have that the thought of, hey, my starting safety just sat out 10 weeks with a concussion. Like that's a real thing. But getting back to this, it's for me right here. There is you either go defensive line, which is a gamble if Booker's here, right? Or you go Booker and then you go defensive line. Because then after that, I think you need to look ahead into possibly a running back, possibly another tight end or an H back, Phil. But that there's a lot of ways you could go after this. I just think right now, at the top of the draft, the top 100, top 50 players in the draft, you have to get the top linemen or the at least the best linemen you can that are available.
Yep. And you said you have not gotten into Sanders yet?
No.
Yep. Another young guy and is going to be fitting, because I think they're going to obviously go bigger. So let me bring up the edges real quick.
Yeah. I'm on running backs right now, and then I'm going to
Yep. Yeah. And like I said, Sawyer is a guy that I just love the way the guy plays.
Right. Why wouldn't you double up at edge? To be honest with you, if that's the case,
Yeah.
like if these guys are available and you see the lack of pressure, why aren't you doubling or triple? I wouldn't say triple up, but with the addition of Sweat, a couple of years ago, I guess you could technically say you're trying to triple up, but you're doubling up right here with the need of a pass rush, whether it be Booker or excuse me, JT, or it be Jack Sawyer, or whoever they might choose. Doubling up is a necessity, because I think if this is the route, if defense is the route, then you're going to see a skill player, you're going to see a running back be taken, and then possibly at the end of the draft, they're going to go try to find some more depth at O lineman. You know what I mean? Like if this is the route that this is the hand that gets played, where we've drafted heavy defensive linemen to start, they'll look for guys at that back end of the draft while trying to find some skill position guys in the middle.
All right, so let's go. Let's double up on the defense, man, and let's roll the dice on Booker. You make the call for the defender here, or do you 100% want Booker here?
No. Let's go ahead and grab. Let's grab Booker. Fuck it. That's not even a gamble, because who knows what the Saints would want.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're looking at it, he's the top ranked, which he should be at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's your pick?
Yep.
All right. So Loveland goes the very next pick. And then you guys are still, as much as I love Xavier Watts,
Mm-hmm.
I just don't think I can pass up the linemen that are staring me in the face here.
Right.
I mean, you do have a trade offer. We'll just see to go to 47 with the Cardinals for 41. So the way that you could, yeah, I mean, that's a little bit rich there.
I'm good with staying
Yep.
for the sake of getting this shit done.
Yeah. So who would you take?
Scroll down a bit. You know what? Let's go with Sawyer. I'll say
Jack
I'll
Sawyer.
double up. Yeah, I'll double up at the edge.
All right. Are you interested in putting anybody on the interior of the defensive line?
Like I said, I'm gonna have to go into it. Like as far as looking at intangibles, like their height, weight, like I have to get to that point in watching this tape right now, and I'm just not there. So I'll just say, from what I've seen, I have no problem. What I've said, I have no problem with doubling up at edge, and
Okay.
I like Jack Sawyer, and I've seen Jack Sawyer play of quite a few times. So it's something I like. I also like his battering mate. What's his? I can't pronounce his last name.
Tui?
Yeah, Tui. I like him as well. So, but I'll go with Jack Sawyer right here, double up at the edge, until I go ahead and cut my own tape, or cut the tape for the defensive interior guys.
All right. So now we're down to 53. This is a pick that we got with our trade down. And there's still you're gonna good spot for the running backs. There's another defensive lineman. I'd probably have a hard time passing up Donovan Jackson here at 53. I don't know how you feel about him. I just think he's young, and I think you have some options there with him.
That's a possibility with as GDP back. With the way that we've seen Ryan Poles draft.
Landon Jackson was gone, Adrian.
I could see a guy like Donovan Jackson going here. Especially, especially if you've already, like I said, you've added twice on the defense. I could see that, 1-for-1 type of deal going on both lines.
What's the temperature of the chat room?
Who did you take? Booker
we went, Michael Williams, Tyler Booker.
Oh, then you gotta take Caleb Johnson right here. You got two edges.
But there's so many running backs, man. You can still
Caleb Johnson.
You can.
You're looking for dogs.
Oh no, I get it, but you just don't forget. You got to pick at 53. You got another one at 72. And how do you feel about Donovan Jackson, the offensive lineman, to give yourself more options there?
I'm a big Caleb Johnson fan. That's what I would do here.
How much more do you like him over the Ohio State back?
Quinshon Judkins.
Yep. How much more do you like him over Judkins?
They're close.
That's what I'm saying. So this.
I see where you are. You're at 41.
Well, we took him at 41.
And I haven't. If I sit down with the two, that would determine how far.
Right, but are you willing?
Wise, I have Johnson over Judkins.
Yeah. So Donovan Jackson, the guy that we're talking about, 6'4", 320. It's a guy that can give you some.
There's a major outage. Frontier, if you have Frontier.
Yeah, I just saw that. So could you be talked into Donovan Jackson here over there, or would you prefer to go with the running back at 53? Because don't forget, the running back is very.
I like
deep.
Wyatt Milam.
I do too.
Yeah,
better than Donovan Jackson.
Okay. I would, if that's the case, if he's there, I would.
I can go Caleb and then Wyatt.
You're talking about 72, right, Milam?
Right. So we could take Caleb.
Okay.
Johnson here.
I'll be done with that.
And then take Wyatt. Later.
At 72 potentially is what you're saying.
Yes.
Okay.
Did you break the news on this Ryan Cox tweet?
Which one was that?
That he sent us from Ben Devine?
Oh, no, I have not.
Okay, because that's...
Yep. So, Ben Devine...
Shout out Ben Devine.
Yep. Chicago Bears
Devine?
head coach Ben Johnson on what will help Caleb Williams most in year 2. And this is a direct quote from Ben Johnson. To help him out the most going forward, I do think we need a strong presence at center. So to me, that points to
dun, 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 dun.
NFL free agency.
Right.
Not so much the draft, which
100%. So
yeah,
we have to look at centers, free agent centers.
Yeah. So Phil, this is your
pick.
Yep.
Well, I would have taken. I'm glad you guys took Booker because when I broke up, I heard you talking about possibly taking somebody else.
Well, just because there's only one pick in between. That was what we have 39 and 41. That was and Colston Loveland went.
That's who you. I wouldn't have taken Loveland.
No. I'm saying that's what he went to New Orleans at 40.
At 40.
Yeah.
And then you took Sawyer. Who
Yeah,
was on the board at Sawyer's pick?
I can tell you. So
You definitely upgraded the edge.
Oh yeah. So here we are. So Jack Sawyer. You still had TJ Sanders from South Carolina, Xavier Watts,
football player.
Princely, he's had some
moments.
Yeah. Tyleek Williams from Ohio State, Shamar Turner, Alfred Collins from Texas, Tui from Ohio State, Cam Scatabo.
Scatabo, huh?
Yeah. Ariante Ursary was still there.
Oh man, I love Ursary.
Yep.
I really like Ursary a lot.
So, but for you, you're pulling the trigger on Caleb Johnson here rather than waiting for a back at 72. Is that how you feel?
Well, yeah, my goal is to come away with West Virginia offensive line, Milam.
All right. Well, so let me ask you this. This is what you have to do. Do you feel confident that Milam will be there? Or do you take him and then you have probably there's an outside chance that Johnson is available at 72. Judkins, Travion Henderson are very likely available at 72.
Johnson's what we need. So I would just take him now because you guys did a good job getting the edge.
So this is your pick, and there he goes. Caleb Johnson is now a Chicago Bear. We are on the clock. Travion Henderson is there. Oof, man, I don't think I can pass Jordan Phillips here.
Look, Judkins must have went off the board.
Yep, I'm sure he did.
So,
yep, Devin Neal, RJ Harvey.
So
Judkins,
I believe I did the right thing there.
He went to the Patriots.
And our guy's sitting there.
Yep. So, all right. So now your picks, you have 72 and 85 because don't forget we traded. You had a big trade down. So now now
this
you
is
want
Ivan. I thought we were going each of us. So this is your pick now.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't really matter. So we have 72 and 85.
I'd be fighting for Jordan Phillips now.
Yeah, well that's why I said when we got here.
Milam too. That it's like
yeah,
two guys I love here.
Yeah, and don't forget we haven't put anything out there what we've done in free agency either. So my three guys, I mean Phillips is my leader. I like Winston a lot. Milam, I like. I'm not down on Gunnar Helm either from Texas. I think he's actually underrated.
Oh, Arroyo.
Yep, I like him, but I can't take him. Oh my God.
No, I'm not taking him here.
This fucking defensive line with Michael Williams, Jack Sawyer, and Jordan fucking Phillips. Oh my God. That gets me excited.
I would take Milam. That's my.
So I was on mute. It's hard for me to pass up on the offensive lineman right here.
Yeah.
Just because we went that route, like we went defense twice. We have to add. We just took a running back
here. Yeah.
Right. We just took a running back. You know what I mean? I want a guy who could possibly bounce into the inside. Phil's gone again. And Milam can play, outside and inside. So in my eyes, so
yep,
it's a little bit difficult of a decision. But if you're asking me, I'm gonna go with Milam.
All right, so we have picks 72 and 85. What's the chat saying? No one won't make it to 72. I remember that guy. Isaiah Bond can stretch the defense. So how do you feel about our interior guys, Ivan? I mean, are you hoping that it's Milton Williams in free agency? Because I mean, it's pretty bare. You're beyond Jervon Dexter, who overall hasn't lived up to the hype. and I think that he'll get better as the talent around him gets better. You got Andrew Billings coming back, but obviously he's another year older too. You're pretty barren on the inside.
Yeah. Well, I guess it would have to be that, and it sucks to say, but you're gonna have to just take them for their word. Like they're, hopefully that they do start spending this money. They spent it on the coach. They spent money on 20 plus coaches on the coaching staff. You know what I mean? So the spending money doesn't seem to be a problem. I don't see why it would stop now. Because if it does stop now and it's all a ruse, this team will lose again. And Ben Johnson will be quickly out of here. Caleb will be gone. All this shit will reset itself to the shithole that it's been. So, yeah, I'm hoping that doesn't happen, obviously. But it's a tough decision for me to make right here. I'm going to go ahead and pull the trigger on an offensive lineman because of the simple fact that we need to be protecting our quarterback.
Yeah, Phil is back.
In and out here, and
we haven't pulled the trigger yet, Phil. We're still debating Phillips and Millam.
Well, I'm debating should I continue with Frontier or not.
We were just talking about real quick, Phil, before you freeze out again or whatever, but how much does the interior of the defensive line worry you? You're getting Andrew Billings back, but he's another year older. Who knows how he's going to recover? Jervon Dexter has not lived up to the hype so far. Hasn't had a lot of help around him. So you're pretty barren on the inside of the defensive line also.
Well, you don't take whatever it is in free agency. You could be seeing the kid from Philadelphia, and that would make this easy.
Well, that's what we talked about, Milton Williams.
Yeah, Milton Williams, or another interior defensive lineman. I just think you can't go wrong. I like Millam.
Would you be interested in going from 85 and throwing in a sweetener to move up from 85 to try to get both Phillips and Millam? Like, would you offer?
Yeah.
To go to pick 73. Just throw somebody in, pick 85 and one of your.
You know what? I totally would. If I could come away with Phillips and Millam here, I like that.
So we are at pick 72.
So you would have to draft the player.
Well, no, you just have to.
Someone's offering us a trade down?
Yeah. So if you tried to make a trade,
it's too far to go.
You'd go 85 and 149, and then if you throw in like a
for pick 73, I see.
Yeah, would you do 85, 149, and 235 for 73? And then you're guaranteed both. Or do you want to just roll with Millam and then see who's available at 85? These are the things that you got to talk about. This is what you get paid for. These are the conversations that are going on.
I would take Millam and then
roll the dice.
We have to do it because the computer goes so fast. Can't call him up. Wyatt.
Well,
Wyatt.
I can slow it down.
Name is Wyatt.
Yeah.
Look what our tackles would be like now.
Yeah. And don't forget, so you still have, depending on what they do.
You took Booker, right?
Yeah, so you have Booker, Amagaji, Braxton Jones.
I just think you're
Darnell
getting
Wright.
a balling athletic.
So just take Millam then and nix the trade? Or try to pull off the trade and get both?
Well, I'm a get both type of guy, but
Ivan, what do you think?
I don't want to lose that 85th pick.
Well, no, but you're getting the 73rd pick.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, if
What about
these guys, if
85, 198, and 235? There you go.
Yeah, it's
Not
only
gonna take
20%. Yeah.
I'm not
if these guys are that important and that high on the board, then yeah, pull the trigger.
They didn't take it.
All right, they're not taking it. So we got to play. Wait, who's behind them?
Well, yeah, you can try to move there. The Carolina
Wait,
Panthers.
Let's see if we could get them.
But the problem is then you could lose your guy right at 73 because you're not going to know. Not be 72, be for 85.
Yeah.
And
We got to go slow. Oh, these guys are being little bitches. They want everything.
I guess you can't adjust them once you go.
Yeah. You can't wait to see. You'd have to slow down the clock, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to be one pick.
All right, let's see. Will they take this?
They took it.
All right, let's see where we play this out. So here
All right,
we're still on the clock.
So who do you want to risk losing more, Phillips or Millam?
Phillips.
Risk losing more. I would say Phillips. I want to make sure I get the offensive tackle.
All right. So we took
Milam.
Yep.
And Phillips is still there.
So why is this not?
You got to go back to the full draft.
Oh, they did. They took Dylan Gabriel. So there we are.
Nice pick, you dumbasses. So there we go. We got them both.
Got them both. All right.
Got them both.
On the clock at
now we can get a tight end. So we got none.
Jackson Slater.
Jackson Slater.
What another offensive lineman.
Jackson Slater's still on the board.
I'll tell you, if the guy is here,
I know who there he is.
I would take him all fucking day.
You're taking the kid from Syracuse or my guy from Iowa?
Gadsden. Yep, I would take him. I just think that there's an explosive upside there. He is I like the way that he catches the ball more. I think he's a more reliable catcher of the football than Arroyo is. And Arroyo's got an extensive injury history.
I love Lachey. Luke Lachey sounds like he could play tight end and a country album.
Yeah, well, I think Gadsden would be nice. I mean, a tight end here. I might just go ahead and add some more to the offensive line, but
Ivan,
if you really feel like one of these
we need tight ends, bro.
I understand that. That's what I said. If you really feel conflicted,
Slater is a great pick here.
Where did the LSU tight end go? You know, the LSU tight end
Taylor,
is
Jonathan Taylor's son.
Jason Taylor, yeah.
Jason Taylor. His name is Jonathan Taylor, right? John Taylor?
Yeah.
Ollie Gordon. You just feel like Genty is going to the Cowboys.
So, Ivan, who are you looking
I
at?
am taking tight end, Iowa. Luke Lachey is who I would take. I wouldn't be upset with Shane taking the kid from Syracuse.
So what do we have for picks coming up? Ooh, that's critical. 198, 235, and 242. All right, so this is what we're doing. I'm going here.
Look at Luke Lachey's size.
Yeah, he's huge. 6'6", 247.
Damn.
It's going to be a 24-year-old rookie. Gadsden's 6'5", 236. And he's 2 years younger. And he was also just drafted by the Bears. So, all right.
And his dad played in the NFL.
Yeah.
For the Giants? Aronde Gadsden, right?
And the Dolphins, yes.
Aronde Gadsden. Listen,
Any
you
wide
got a
receivers?
tight end. I'm ready to take another tight end. The center's coming via free agency.
Yes.
Thank you, Ryan Cox, for that. Ben Devine.
Yeah, good stuff.
Where is Ben Devine? What does he write for? He's always breaking some good Bears stuff.
Ben is, let me look it up.
Maybe we can get Jackal on getting him on the show.
Says he's just a fanalist.
He is?
That's what it says, yeah.
Well, I'll still give him a shot to come on the show. I like what he does.
All right, so what are you guys looking at here? We got 2 more picks to go, and then we can wrap this bitch up. Are you going back to the offensive line? Are you interested in a wide receiver? I wouldn't be against. Well, yeah.
I can't forget.
What are you saying, Ivan?
I was gonna say, go ahead and grab Fairchild
From Georgia, the guard.
Oh, he likes another guard.
Loading them up.
How about safety? Sometimes
I know you're not drafting Shiloh.
Shiloh. It's Shiloh in there. I really want that guy from Bill Wagner, $10 mock draft super chat. DDP refuses to pass on a nice tight end. Respect.
All right.
Damn, like Cosmo Kramer.
Here is our last pick.
An ass man.
This is what I've been doing the entire time.
You always pick the same guy.
I would do it if he's there, and I think that there's probably a chance. I like Donovan Edwards, man. I think he's an explosive guy that can make fucking plays. If you come away with him in round 7, I mean,
you think Harbaugh's not going to take this dude?
Oh, he probably will in the 5th round. Yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it all day long.
I don't understand how he didn't get more love.
Yeah. Ivan, you got any thoughts?
How about the quarterback from Division 2?
Yeah, I want to go to bed.
Is there any last tight ends, Ivan?
I don't know. You probably picked them all, Phil.
This kid met with Chicago. Molokai Mataveo. He didn't meet with the Bears.
If you don't take a Samoan tight end, what are we doing?
Well, Donovan Edwards is 1/8 Samoan.
There you go. Our first full mock draft, right?
Yeah.
On his mother's side.
This is what they did, folks.
So they gave this is what they're giving us, a B+. They gave Aronde Gadsden.
Why would you give us a B+ for this?
Oh my god, I'd be happier than fucking hell. This was the Bears draft.
They gave a C+ to Milam and a D+ to Gadsden.
Yeah.
Look at Ivan, Dylan Fairchild.
Love it.
Yes, this was a good point here. I'll read it because of podcast. Chris Sims has asked every head coach and GM at the Combine, what's the hardest position to evaluate?
Yeah.
And the majority have said safety, including
7 out of 10.
Ben Johnson.
7 out of 10. Ben Johnson said safety also.
It is a hard position because they're obviously the last line of defense, but somehow we can do it.
Well, I think their
E
main
plus is my new hip hop name.
I think their main point was how hard it was because, you know, you can go, you know, midway through a game before you see them even really involved in anything. That's what they kept on repeating.
No, I get it. I know what they're saying, but excuse me. I don't know if it's the hardest for me. I think it's a quarterback. But what is this up top? You drafted Booker, but we should have drafted Loveland.
Yeah, that's based on their based on their shit. Yeah.
Oh, this PFF.
But see, that's remember I had talked about that because you were at 39. You probably would have gotten Booker. And listen, we know on draft day he's not going to be available anyway, so that's where this is all moot. But
yeah,
so if you want to look over that draft, I just posted it for our patrons. If you are not a patron, it says right there, become a patron. TheTapeNeverLies.com. Scan that QR code. Go check it out. I will just go through this one last time. Michael Williams, Tyler Booker, Jack Sawyer, Caleb Johnson, Wyatt Millham, Jordan Phillips, Aronde Gadsden, the second, Dylan Fairchild, and then Donovan the Samoan Edwards.
Jeff Burton says, as a UM fan, Edwards is always looking for the home run. He liked Mullins.
But that's what I want. Give me that dude as your third running back all day long, man. Can you imagine how would you like your running back tandem to be Caleb Johnson, DeAndre Swift, and Donovan fucking Edwards? I'm excited about that.
Caleb Johnson.
That's what I said. I said him first.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
I put him in as your starter. Yeah.
You're not hearing him. You're not paying attention to him.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I didn't hear it.
Yeah. So
listen, subscribe to the channel. As far as Daredevil, that is my favorite Netflix series. The first original Daredevil.